The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. Well, we've got a unique show for you today. I mentioned I'm your host at the beginning of the show, but that's not the case. You see, Tarragon and I could not record the show proper this week, so our awesome co-host stepped up to do this show. You'll have to let me know what you think, and I am excited to listen to what they end up having to say. I have no idea at this point. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 67. You can also contact us with questions or comments. Twitter, of course, at Z2Z, over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement Comic Collector from the game Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This achievement was suggested by Foo Foo Cuddly Poof in honor of his brother's new comic book, Mic Drop Comics. He put one of those comic strips in our Discord chat. It was good stuff. You can find his show links for his comics in the show notes at Mic Drop Comics on Facebook. And if you're interested in finding out more, this particular achievement requires you to unlock all items in the gallery. And to do that, you need to at least have beaten the campaign with every single character landing that final blow on Galactus, as well as letting Galactus beat you at least once. You put it on very easy and just grind on through. Finally, you also need to do a mission with each character, so it'll take some time to go through the entire list, but there's a healthy 50 gamer score and 180 TA for your troubles. Special thanks to developer and publisher Capcom Entertainment. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, let us know. You can contact us, Twitter, of course, at Z2ZZEDTOZED. You can come chat with us over at Discord, discord.me/Z2Z. Or, you can even leave it in a podcast or iTunes review post. So, before we go into the rest of the show, I'd be remiss to not run through a few things while in my brief time with you here. Of course, I'll finish the show up at the end, but there's some things I need to get off my chest. Ultimately, it's in the win of the week this week. And I guess I could tie this into my zombie news as well. My win of the week this week was nailing that Resident Evil Super Bundle deal when it was a pricing mistake. They mistakenly put, a $60 title or bundle or whatever on special for $20. So you got Resident Evil, the original, Resident Evil 0, 4, 5, 6, and a whole bunch of just random crap. And I think the Revelations 2 was in there. I don't know. It was a crazy bundle, and it only cost me $20. Of course, I won't be playing 4, 5, and 6, but I was going to do 1 and 0 anyway, and that was like $22. So I came out on top, pretty happy about that one. As far as my actually gaming this last week, I've been spending, so I had talked about last show with Rocket League and how I had so many just easy, low-hanging fruit to pick off. And so I decided, you know what, let's just finish this bad boy off as best we can. I'm not going to, like I mentioned, not going to be, sitting around grinding goals or driving. I'll do that normally as my son and I continue to play. But all the easy ones, like getting win streaks and using boost 10 times, they take like a few minutes to do. So I think this last week I ended up doing like 30-some achievements in Rocket League. And even some of the new ones, which I was hoping was going to give you enough TA for the GTA SC this week, but alas, that is not the case. And I'm sure we'll talk about it next week when we sadly announce that my team is being eliminated. I know the hosts, even the host of the whole contest, Planting, we're all done. We tried our best. Well, I'd say we tried our best, but I did not try my best. I just did not have the gaming time for it. I was at a wedding this weekend, and it was glorious. I had so much fun. And I will. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to post a picture here in the show notes. You got to take a look at it. So this hotel that we were at, there was like, I don't even really know how to explain it because it's, it's kind of a traditional hotel, but they have these ceramic statues, white ceramic statues of people from like the 1950s. It's called the Renaissance. Or that's the name of the hotel. And so they're around, like, one guy's getting his shoe shined, a couple, the bellhop is there, the maitre d' is there, right? And they're just kind of around the hotel and stuff. I'm not going to lie to you, this thing screamed BioShock like you wouldn't believe. Now, I can't confirm that those are indeed humans underneath that, and some of them the scenes, of course, are not quite as macabre as the ones in BioShock, but I'd be remiss to say that didn't kind of creep me out just a little bit. You have to look in the show notes. I took one picture of just one of the scenes, and you'll kind of get what I saw. But they were all over the place. It was disheartening. And there was also at the wedding at the hotel that we were at. There's like some sort of, it wasn't Comic-Con obviously, but there's some sort of comic convention. We saw some some cosplayers. Nothing to write home about. We saw some dude just walking around with a bow and arrow. I don't think he was Hawkeye. Didn't quite look like Hawkeye, but that might have been the cosplay he was going for. I don't know. Not the purple one, the new one. Could just be a dude with a bow and arrow wandering Minneapolis. I cannot confirm that. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, suffice it to say. Not the comic convention, the wedding. But anyway, I'm back. That's why I couldn't record the normal show. So what we did get for the normal show was I think Joe and Proulx. I think Proulx hosted this thing. Randy's probably there. Anyway, you'll have to listen and send notes back to us. Let us know what you think. How it went, what worked, what didn't work. You can say that about the normal show too. We love your feedback, and we so appreciate it when you reach out to us. So, without further ado, let's get on with the rest of the program.
All right, thank you, Fream, for that beautiful introduction. And now, as everybody has just heard, I'm officially lead host of the show. In fact, it's now basically my show, so I can do whatever I want.
The old people are not coming back.
No.
We left them behind.
No. You know what? They didn't want to show up this week, so sorry, guys.
Gone forever. Got locked out.
Yeah.
We changed the locks.
We have changed this is actually officially the launch of Z to Z 2.0. And it's going to be way bigger, way huger. Big league is what it's going to be, and it's going to be great, and you're going to love it. So
I think you mean Z to Z 2.0 Fun, because we've taken the great concepts from Saints Row Fun and embedded them in Z to Z podcast.
Of course. Lots of open world talk here. But anyways, so you've heard we've got some people here. Let's introduce everybody. Randy, you're here. How are you doing?
Not great. I'm very tired, and I feel sick every day because I've been getting up early to go to work. But work's good.
There you go.
I have no complaints yet.
None? Wait a minute. So, hang on. Somebody write the time down. Randy just said he has no complaints.
Wait, something's wrong. Other than the getting up early and feeling sick every day. So hopefully that passes.
That's good. So it's going well so far.
Yep.
First week down.
First week is done. So let's hope it stays good.
Yeah, well, let's hope for forever, hopefully. I
do have something else excellent this week.
All right, go ahead.
So I did go to a thrift store, and that means I was looking for mugs. Now, I know we don't do mug of the week anymore, but I found a really good one this week. I mean, I don't find a new one every week, but I got a new one. It is overtaken the previous champion as comically large mug. This one is almost as big as my head, and it holds more than a liter. And for those of you that use Freedom units, that's 4 cups. I don't know what 4 cups equals in other Freedom terms, but...
Oh, yes, you do.
No.
All right, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So it's just huge. It's amazing. I'll post a picture in the show notes, but it's great.
Are you going to post the picture of the mug obstructing your face? Because that would be pretty funny, actually.
We'll see. Depends on how ambitious I feel.
Or you could put the picture on your, or the mug on your dog and then take a picture of it. That would be pretty adorable.
That's true. I could put it on his head.
Yeah, that would be good. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay.
He could almost fit in it.
Well, then you might end up with no mug because it will fall off.
Oh, that's a good
true.
point.
I don't think I can replace this one. I have not seen a mug this big before.
And you just heard her. Joining us this week is Joe from across the pond. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm actually doing quite well. It's been a good couple of weeks.
That's fantastic.
It's good to be back.
I hear you are you're about to hit your daylight savings time, which we had to deal with a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it hits on Sunday, which is also Mother's Day.
What? Wait a minute. What? Really?
In the UK.
Oh, do you guys have a different Mother's Day? Oh, I was like, I didn't buy my mom anything. Oh my God. What a terrible person I am. Okay, sorry.
For some reason, there's a different day for Mother's Day, but Father's Day is the same day.
Interesting.
That's weird.
Which is weirdly confusing, but yeah.
I think there's another one that's weird too. I don't remember which. That's like different everywhere.
I wonder what it would be.
No apparent reason.
Well, anyways, that's okay. We're not talking about holidays the whole podcast here, guys. So let's just jump right into it with our win of the week. You know, I'm going to start because I've been talking about this game for so long, and my whole goal was to get Skyrim done before Andromeda came out, and I did it. I did it last Sunday. It's fantastic because the first time I played Skyrim, I played it for about the same amount of time. I think my last save was like 160 hours or so. But the first time through, I didn't actually really try for the achievements. This time, that's kind of what I was going for the back half of it at least. So I am now done with Skyrim, the Legendary Edition, just in time for Andromeda, which I am sure you'll hear a little bit more about later on this show.
I don't think so.
No,
we're not going to talk about that.
I have a feeling it's probably going to come up once or twice. But so that was my
now
win.
Are you going to go back to your 360 Skyrim and finish that off?
You know, I was actually thinking that I could fairly easily finish up that. It would take me, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 hours or so just to finish it up, but it's not that bad. I'm in a position.
So easy.
Yeah,
you might as well do it.
I should.
Quick.
I should. The only thing I'm thinking about
100-something hours in.
Yeah.
That's another 7.
The one issue I might run into is the one missable achievement, essentially, in that game. Depending on how I ran through those quests the first time, and I don't remember because it was like 5 years ago, it's possible I could have blocked myself from that achievement. But other than that, I can easily get the rest without any problem at all. So I probably should. But on the other hand, sometimes I like to leave those easy achievements for random to do or UHH or any of these other things that I could get it pretty easily. So we'll see.
Excuses.
I also have a zillion other games to play, so including Andromeda, which just came up for the second time. Randy, what about you? What was your win?
My win of the week was finally finishing Guitar Hero Live. Both of them. Now it's done. It's been packed away, and it will hopefully never come out again. We can hope. Just really hope.
Or Guitar Hero Live 2, maybe?
Yeah, but then that's a new guitar. I mean, they're not going to let you use the same guitar. Come on.
But you have to export those songs.
No. There is no song worth exporting. Probably on that entire game. Especially if they charge money for it.
What was that one song that you played a zillion trillion times?
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pay
like
$10 to export that for for Guitar Hero Live 2?
I played it like 160 times because I played it like 80 times twice.
That's a lot.
No.
If I'm curious now, just thinking about it, if Guitar Hero Live came out with another expansion, but they did like the Gears of War seriously strategy with another game that came out. So essentially, you just went through Millionaire 1.0, if the next Guitar Hero live stream,
where they just artificially extend the gameplay every time by making it longer.
Yep.
Of course I'd do it. Why are you even asking that question? We all know the answer.
But why would you do it?
Because I want the series completion.
That's
I've
an
been trying
interesting
to get the Guitar
question.
Hero series completion for, I don't know, since Guitar Hero 3. And I still don't have it. I'm really close. Like, it'll probably happen this year. I mean, and that's, I don't know what, that's probably coming up on a 10-year goal at this. I mean, it's not like a serious goal that I've been actively pursuing since then, but something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So it'll be cool when that happens, and I don't foresee another Guitar Hero coming out for quite some time.
You hope, you mean? That's what you're saying.
Hope. I mean, I would be thrilled if they just like did a Warriors of Rock 2 or something that was the same engine, the same game with more songs for Xbox One. It's fine. That'd be fine by me.
Would you be thrilled, or would you kind of complain about it?
It depends. Now, if
Or both.
Or both. That's true.
It could be. I mean, that's kind of like the Rock Band dilemma, where every time I play it, I get a little bit sad because it could have been so good.
Yeah.
And, it could have been exciting, and it could have been a rebirth of the music game genre, but instead they built it on the Lie engine and made it half game. So, I don't know. And yeah, I just looked at the release date, 28th of October, 2007. So this year in October will be the 10-year anniversary of Guitar Hero 3, which is kind of cool because that game was like the turning point where those games were serious. Like that was, it's still the standard engine for custom songs. So
interesting. I would, I don't know. I played Guitar Hero 2. And then I played Guitar Hero 3, of course. But I don't know if that's an interesting topic for another time. But what about you, Joe? What is your win of the week?
We can debate it.
We could debate it, actually.
We should do that. I want to do that.
All right. I don't know how.
Not today.
Feel super strongly enough about it, but I mean, we could. Yeah, sure. That'd be fun. But yeah, Joe, go ahead. What's your win of this week?
Well, yeah, my win of the week is it's more personal than gaming because I haven't really been, I've really only been playing Andromeda and, little games. Yeah, so woohoo. But I think I have to think back a couple of weeks until I got a real win, and that was getting the boss hunt on Crazy on Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I was really pleased with that. So I've just got one achievement left, which currently involves me having to do a firewalk and then get more rainbow stars. But I'm almost there. So I'm kind of pleased with myself with that.
All right, so should I play those games? Are they fun? Are they really worth it? I guess is my question.
I enjoy playing them. If you're going for all the achievements, there's some annoying bits, but if you just want a cool game to play, it's like third person shooter, but you're a pea, or you're a zombie. You're a sunflower, and it just makes it fun. It's less.
I have the first one on 360 that I picked up ages ago.
Have you played it?
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. You don't want to be
I wonder if it's still populated though, like the 360 version.
I don't know about the 360 version. I've only played on the one. I know people did still play the first game. There was quite a large following.
Yeah, it seems like one of those games that would have
still do.
A lot of people kind of always playing it, popular enough.
Check it out.
And, it's just enough that you could get into a lobby without any problems, I imagine.
Yeah.
So, Randy, we were just talking about Guitar Hero and your 10-year quest to finish that. Of course, the listeners are very familiar with all of your quests to finish all of these ridiculous things, but it kind of
one day I'll complete them all.
Yes, we definitely believe that. No doubt. But it actually brings up an interesting topic that we should have a discussion about. Do you ever worry that you probably don't, but do you ever worry that that you're falling into a trap? Like you're kind of missing out on other things if you're like literally sitting there strumming for hours at a time. Do you think that maybe not just you, but everybody? I mean, we all do this. We all kind of sit there and grind bad or poor games for a while when we could be playing something else,
like the Saints Row series,
like the Saints Row series that we've been going through, like the third time we played it, and you're just like, why am I doing this to myself? So when is too much, and when do you call it quits? And then you played Groff for so long.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. The first part that you brought up is do you worry you're missing other things? And it's kind of a dilemma because, I play a game that I missed. I mean, I'm too young to have experienced it at its prime, but a game like System Shock that I'm going back to now that it's old. I think it was released in 96, so it's 20-ish years old, and playing it, and I really enjoy it, but it doesn't have achievements, and it's a great experience, but at the same time when I play it, I think, oh well, I could be strumming, or I could be playing Dead Rising 4 or whatever bad game is next. And then I wonder, how many other games? Like, there are a lot of games that I would like to play, but I don't because I'm playing Gra or Guitar Hero or whatever. Then on the other hand, I do really like completing online games. I find it very satisfying. And yeah, of course the grinds are lame, but if I didn't think that they were worth it, I wouldn't do it. It's not. I don't think it's like a problem, but I do think that maybe I miss out on some things sometimes. Yeah.
So, like Joe, what would you consider yourself? Are you like? I guess we all have our threshold. So, are you an 80% completionist, a 50% completionist, or are you just always chasing the 100% there?
Well, it depends on the game. I like completing games. I try and keep at least half of my games fully completed. I think I'm hovering somewhere around 75% overall. Completion at the moment, the highest I've got is like 82, and then I did a bean dive. But it really does depend on the game, because there's some games I know I'm never going to complete, just because I just don't have the skill. And for whatever reason. And then there's games like Xbox Fitness that I know it's closing, but the only way to get achievements I'm missing is to set up some kind of fake person and get a turbo controller, and I'm just like, I can't bring myself to do it. So I think I probably have hit I'm never going to be able to get 100%. I know I'm not going to be able to get 100%, so why would I put myself through that? Just to get those final 4 achievements.
Does it stick in your brain? Like, is it like, man, I almost would do it. Like, where is that line? I think is really the question, because, it's super easy for me. I would not do that. Like, I wouldn't set up a robot person, or I wouldn't, set up 6 Xboxes all playing 18 copies of the same game.
Hey, is that a jab at my setup?
It wasn't. I was referencing it. I wasn't jabbing you. It's fine. It's just like I have a lower threshold for what I won't do than maybe either of you. Obviously, if we look at completion percentages, certainly.
Well, I only have one of each. Well, I have 2 360s, but one's at my parents' house. I only have one of each console. I've only got one TV. And I haven't set up a dummy. I've considered it. I have a balloon. I have this, thing that looks like it came out from I've forgotten the name of the TV show. What's the TV show where the chemistry teacher has cancer and then makes drugs?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it looks like something out of Breaking Bad, but it's white. I had it from a graffiti thing, so it's nice and light, so it would work perfectly as a thing. But I just can't bring myself to do it. I think my threshold is when it starts making me really anxious, or it's starting to make me feel a bit ill. I mean, I pushed myself to complete Doritos Crash Course 2 before the servers closed, and I did it, but I was so close to calling it quits because platformers are trickier for me. I persevered because I knew somewhere in my head that I could do it. But yeah, I guess the line is that I am probably not going to finish Xbox Fitness and thus never be able to get 100% because I know that there are games on my tag that I'm never going to get 100% in, so why bother? I've got better things to do with my time. I could be playing Mass Effect.
There you go. There you go.
See, now, I think there are 4 games on my tag that I can't complete, and each and every one of them drives me crazy. One of them is technically... The one that drives me the craziest, though, is the one I put on my tag that is completable, but I know I will never complete it because it is too difficult. My hope for that is one day I will meet somebody that's really good at that game, and they'll beat it for me.
That lives close by, right?
Yes.
Which game is that?
Mushihime Sama Futari 1.5, and it's a Japanese shoot 'em up.
Right.
Super fun game, but I am not good at it. So, I mean, if I pulled another Graw, I could probably complete it eventually. But it's those kind of ones are like, because it's so skill based, you can't just sit and grind it for like 8 hours a day. So, I mean, it's kind of the same thing where you have to play it for, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, but you can only play without getting frustrated or fatigued or whatever, like 2 hours at a time. So it then takes longer and longer and longer. And even then, maybe I'm just not cut out to do it. Maybe I could spend 300 hours on it and make no progress.
Oh, that sounds brutal.
That one drives me crazy. There's a couple games from way back that have discontinued achievements. The one that really bugs me is Juice 2 on PC, because that's the other one that I'm, the weird thing with that is the Games Windows Live client update broke the achievements, which is super weird. I don't know of any other games that had effectively a dashboard update break achievements. They just stopped working. The servers are still up. You can still fulfill all the requirements. They just don't pop.
That's annoying.
So it drives me crazy because I keep thinking, okay, I fulfilled these requirements. How can I revert the client while I keep my save in a working format to load it up and pop it? Because it does checks. The game does checks all the time, and I know that from the other achievements. So I'm like, if I could get that save to work in the old client, I could pop these achievements legitimately, even though, they, of course they would appear offline, but, all the requirements are real. So that one kind of drives me a little crazy too. With the other two, I just tend to try and forget about. And the thing with Juiced also is that I complete when there was kind of that Games Windows Live scare a few years back, and I completed all my Games Windows Live games on my tag. But Juice 2 is going to sit there forever. I mean, I think I have like almost 40 Games Windows Live completions, and Juice 2 is the only one that I can't complete. Everything else is 100%. That drives me crazy, just because I can't have my 100% completion.
So, yeah,
bugs me.
I mean, so like when starting a new game, I mean, generally speaking, if it's an older game, and I'll look at it and then I'll see, there's a glitched achievement or an unobtainable. I'll usually avoid the game.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, always.
Yeah, but
I might still play it. If it's a game I really want to play, I'll play it on another tag. But it's not often that there is a game that I really want to play that it is a disaster or has closed servers or whatever.
Well, think of, just recently when you played Ghostbusters. That was a great game, and you had never
it was.
And you never played it, right? Because of the glitch stuff going on.
Oh no, I started Ghostbusters in 2012.
Oh, you did start it. Okay.
Yeah, I started it knowing that it could glitch on me, but I had done some playing around with it to make sure that, or not make sure, but I was confident enough that there was a good chance that I would complete it. And I was willing to, because it was a good game that I did want to play, I was willing to take that risk on it. Given that it was a 360 game, so I couldn't get 100% completion anyway. And that it was a good game I wanted to play, and I had a good understanding of how to get everything in it. I felt good about it, so I went ahead and put it on my tag. Now, if it was like a 1% chance it's going to work, probably not going to do it.
That's interesting. Bringing it back to the fact that it's Andromeda Week, I've kind of been facing this dilemma now, and I think I know where I land on it, but the only version of Mass Effect I haven't played is the Japanese version of Mass Effect 2, which I just recently found out you can do with EA Access. And however, the all the DLC achievements, I believe, I don't know if it's all of them or some of them.
It has unobtainable achievements that were meant for DLC, but the DLC was never released.
Yeah. So I'm now in it, I am not by any means a super completionist, and I'm pretty sure Mass Effect of all games is going to be the game that I won't care, and I'll just play it anyways. I'll get whatever I can because I have the US version, the regular version completed. But honestly, I'm trying to think of another game that would, as soon as I see unobtainable or a glitched achievement, I'm just like, nah, because there's so many other things I can play, and I don't. And why even bother if there's not even the chance? Because I know I'm not going to complete every game. But if I don't even have the opportunity, then I'll just go to something that I do. And that is kind of an arbitrary line, but that's kind of where I go with it.
Yeah, that's why I try and complete the multiplayer in games sooner rather than later, just in case the servers close down. I still have, a couple of dozen ones that I should really finish, but I've been playing too much Titanfall.
Yeah, I'm the same way though. I mean, there's tons of games on my tag that one of my friends has just said, "Hey, you want to knock out the multiplayer for whatever game?" I'm like, "Sure," and then it's 4 years later, and I still haven't touched a single player. So, I mean, I kind of do that to an extreme. Well, not really an extreme, not nearly as much as I used to do, but yeah, I mean, that's something I do too. And then I look and I'm like, I still, I've completed all these games, but I still have almost 100 incomplete games in my tag, which I don't like. I want it to be much less than that.
100? I'm surprised.
Yeah. I mean, there's some that are close. Like I've got 5 or 6 that are all just a few hours away from completion. But yeah, it's 100. My overall completion percentage is 82.5, and I have 100 started games. About.
Do either of you? I mean, Randy, you just mentioned that you'll play on another tag, but do either of you ever regret not starting? Like maybe later on you tried a game out and played it and enjoyed it, or you just always wanted to try that particular game? Is there something that's like you want to do, but the actual completion is holding you back? Or do you not let that happen?
Not often. I mean, maybe there's one game that I can think of just off the top of my head, and that's Fight Night Champion. I really like the Fight Night series. But Fight Night Champion, there was a bug, and there's 3 discontinued achievements in it. So I hope that one day those will get fixed. And it's a super crazy. It's another one of those like mega high ratio, like I don't know, 15 or 20 people have completed it or something, because there's a huge online component. And I have no problem with boosting that. And I would like to play more of the single player, but it's just kind of one of those games where, if I'm going to get into it, I want to get the achievements, but the discontinued achievements put me off of it. So Yeah, I mean, maybe, but not enough that I'd want to still put it on my tag. And at least, unless that is like the best game I've ever played.
Like Saints Row.
I don't really think it's going to be. Then, no, I don't think I can say that I regret playing it on a dummy and not my main. And not maybe getting as into it as I would have if I was going for the completion.
What about you, Joe? I mean, let's be fair here. Lego games don't often have glitchy achievements, so I think that's fortunate at least, right?
Some of them do. Some people always complain about glitches and,
I've never run into any. That's interesting.
Yeah, I have had some level ones not pop sometimes on the Xbox One, but I think that's possibly more the one than the game. I've had levels glitch before where you just couldn't continue past a point, but never a game breaking or a game ending or a 100% stopping glitch.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've pretty much started every game aside from the great big pile that I've got that I bought and I haven't started that I'm probably saving for a bean dive. Every game that I want to play, I just don't have enough time to play everything. I took a chance on Saints Row 3 to bring it all back around because it was a Games with Gold and I managed to get the DLC because it was on sale. But there was the discontinued achievement for uploading your character. But I took a chance on it because it looked like the people that bought the franchise were working on a fix for that, and it paid off because that one did get fixed. But
it took them a very long time, but they did eventually do it.
Yeah, they did though.
Yeah, I mean it's still iffy. Like sometimes it doesn't work, but I mean, Proulx, you eventually got it to work. When we were doing that.
Yeah, that was on Saints Row 4, though. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's the same server.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It didn't work the first time I tried it. Essentially what you do is you upload your character to their server. And, but yeah, it was the next day or the day after that. It was very, very soon afterwards. It may be flaky, who knows, but
it was probably everyone went on and tried to do it and it overloaded.
Oh, no, this was just recently, like a few weeks ago.
But
yeah, when they first brought them back up, because that's when I went on and started all of the unstarted Saints Rows with that achievement that I had.
Yep.
Yeah, it was real flaky. Like because I was just worried, like, okay, everyone's gonna go on, overload it, break the server, and they're just gonna be like, whatever, we give up.
Yeah.
But no, it still works mostly.
Yeah,
which is cool. It is very, as much as I talk down Volition, that was cool of them to do, especially given that it took a very long time and they were basically rebuilding it without having any documentation of the previous code. Like they had to rebuild all of the structure of the server that no longer existed and no longer had any documentation just by looking at what they had from the game, because it was all on THQ's end, I guess. Yeah. So cool of them to do that, but they're still dead to me.
That must have been before they got all their beer.
No, I think it was actually. It probably would have been done in a week if they didn't have the beer taps.
All right, so here's the thing, Randy. You can go refill your comically large mug if you'd like. Now that Fream's not around, we don't have to talk about Destiny, which is great.
We talked about the other space game.
Yes, Joe and I are going to have a little conversation. I want to have a little talk
Space Effect
about the big release that happened this week, of course, talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. And don't worry, even though I think all of you people take this a little too seriously, there's not going to be any spoilers. If you've listened last week, you know what I'm talking about.
It's set in space.
It is set in space.
Really?
It's actually set in Andromeda, believe it or not.
Yes. Yeah. And there are aliens.
There are aliens.
Whoa.
Blue aliens, believe
Spoilers,
it or not.
guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And spaceships.
Yeah. It's all very exciting. So, So what do you think, Joe? How far into the game are you? And of course, spoiler free. How are you enjoying it so far?
I'm having fun with it. I have established my first. I think it's okay to say colony. I mean,
Sure.
the whole point of the Andromeda Initiative is to colonize the Andromeda Galaxy. So I've got my first colony, and then I'm back on the station.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. No, you're being very generic. I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I've done loads of running around, scanning and talking to people, and side quests and finding items, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
It's. I was waiting for it, and I'm taking my time and exploring things. I missed an optional objective on a quest that took me like an hour, and my autosave then got overwritten, and I'm just like, do I play it through again? No, I'm missing this optional thing, but it's going to bug me.
See, that's how I feel. Completions.
Yeah, but it's not even for an achievement. It's literally just one of the objectives on the quest. I haven't looked at the achievement list. I'm staying completely as spoiler free as possible. I haven't even glanced at the achievement list. I only see them when they pop up. So I just want to enjoy the game without any pressure of having to do anything or play it in a certain way. I just want to, experience as it was meant to be experienced.
Yeah, I looked at the achievement list when it first came out because, again, I don't care about spoilers. And it didn't give anything away, really. I mean, I didn't study it in depth or anything like that. I just read them. And it looked fairly standard Mass Effect achievements. So I don't think it's going to be undoable or anything like that. But going through the game as far as I've been, at this point, I've actually really only unlocked story-based achievements. If you
I got the one for scanning hundreds of objects.
Yes. Yep. I was just going to say, if you actually look at the achievement tracker, there are a bunch of combat-based achievements that you can see what you need to work on and stuff. But again, if you're trying to stay super pure, I think all the spoilery ones are secret anyways.
It's not the spoilers. I'm literally just trying to reduce the pressure, because if I even look at the list, I'll be like, oh well, I've got to do this combo to do this, and I have to make sure I do that, and there's a missable one that if I don't visit that planet, and I just don't want the pressure.
I know what you mean with that, because I do that all the time. As I'll see this like, oh well, there's a perfectly good spot to do this, here and here where it's going to take 5 minutes, but in the back of my mind, I'll know, I'm like, oh, there's those two guns. Yeah. I should just try it.
Yeah.
And then you die 16 times for half an hour before you give up and do it where you're supposed to do it.
And most of them will just come naturally anyway. So
it's funny that we're talking about this, because there actually, when I looked at the tracker, there was a particular achievement that was like, do 100 kills this way, and I won't say it since you want to stay completely clear of that, Joe. But I hadn't even gotten a single kill that way. And since I've noticed that achievement, that's all I've been trying to do, is just this maneuver over and over and over again until I can get that achievement.
I still haven't figured out which button is melee, but because if I press B or down on a stick, it just seems to zoom all over the place.
Yes. The combat is much, much zippier than previous Mass Effects. It seems way more focused on movement, I would say. In Mass Effect, the original trilogy, there was one class, essentially. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. The one that had that ability, basically, to scoot through the battlefield and kind of move around. Can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways.
Vanguard?
Was it Vanguard? It might be. But in this, in the new one, you essentially, everybody has fast movement and all of these kind of, I don't know, the combat for the game is actually much, much more fast paced, and much, much more actiony than ever. I mean, it's kind of been trending that way essentially since the first game. But
is that a good thing or not?
It's not a bad thing, not inherently a bad thing. It's just different. It just changes. It doesn't bother me. Some people view it as a bad thing. Some people think, Mass Effect 2 and 3 are specifically 2 was looked at as a huge improvement on 1 for a lot of those very reasons.
I love 1.
I love 1 too. 1 is my favorite, but the gameplay itself is much more interesting, I will say, for 2 over 1. And this one just kind of, in the same way, I think that if you know, Randy, you're a Saints Row and a Dead Rising purist, Mass Effect purists probably won't have.
Actually, not so much with Saints Row. I mean, Saints Row 1 was a great game, but Saints Row 2 improved on essentially every aspect of Saints Row 1 except the multiplayer. and really the multiplayer would have been just fine if they didn't cut all the modes that people actually played. But in terms of the single player, yeah, it was like I can't think of anything that Saints Row 1 did better than 2. Now, Saints Row 3 and 4 on the other hand,
which we don't need to get into right now.
That's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, Dead Rising, of course, one will always be my favorite. I did get Dead Rising 4, so Frank West is back. We're going back to our roots. So we'll find out this week probably, because I think I'm going to play that this week. So
good luck.
See how that goes.
No, it's actually the same thing to me. Like I recognize that Mass Effect 2 technically is a better game in almost every category than Mass Effect 1, but Mass Effect 1 I think will always remain my favorite. For a lot of the same reasons that when you were arguing with Tarragon over the debate, a lot of the same kind of reasons. Atmosphere, detail. Not that, again,
not running out of ammo.
Yeah, right.
And the Mako, you can't beat the Mako.
I love the Mako, and I love that the Mako's back, which isn't really the Mako. It's called the Nomad in this game, but it's essentially the same, and that's not a spoiler. That's pretty innocuous.
Well, there was a model released with a special edition, so I don't think that's a spoiler.
What? I tried to buy a special edition. I never even saw one that had a model. I definitely would have gotten it.
Did you get the Super Mega Ultra Super edition?
I got the best edition you could buy on Amazon.
Okay.
That's actually a good story too. I bought the deluxe edition on Amazon, which was I think $70, and a couple days after the game came out, I got an email from Amazon. They're like, "Here's $8," because the price went down in 2 days. So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. They didn't do that for me. The price on Dead Rising 4 dropped $3 the day after I bought it. And now it's back again. I don't know what's going on, but
maybe it was just a special or something.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to have a fit over like $3 because it's not worth my time. But
I don't know if they see your case history on Amazon, they might give you a lot of free stuff or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, they basically accused me of stealing, for their mistake, and they're still actually. And this is a good transition to an update on that. So. I don't remember if it was in response. I think it was in response to me posting in Discord that I bought Dead Rising 4 on Amazon because it was cheap. And somebody said that this was kind of it was in response to a picture that was posted on Reddit of a Walmart that I think it was the Walmart in Spokane, Washington, that had like 450 copies of Dead Rising 2 on the shelf. Not just in the back. On the shelf. Somebody counted, which is amazing that somebody counted. And, somebody posted in chat something in response to me, or maybe it was Twitter. I don't know, somewhere. And to which I responded, they probably just tried to buy 10 PS4 copies on Amazon and ended up with that.
That's funny.
But then that kind of got that going of... I wish, somebody said should have recorded you opening each of the packages to get a PS4 copy every time, which if I had known the story, I absolutely would have because it was hilarious. But that got me thinking. So I went on to Amazon and looked at the reviews on the 360, not the 360, the Xbox One version of Dead Rising 2, and as of, I think, November 2016, they were still sending out the wrong copies.
Seriously?
Interesting.
God,
okay.
That's terrible.
And there was another guy that had the same thing happen, except he only got 2 PS4 copies. We got 2 PS4 copies and then got an Xbox One copy of Dead Rising 1. So the same thing that was my second mistake from them. But I just thought it was funny that another guy, like, they made the same mistake again, that they sent out a copy of Dead Rising 1 instead of Dead Rising 2. It's just...
Did the people who ordered the PS4 version get the Xbox One?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I assume they still are too. Yeah, so basically what happened was they just swapped the two in the in inventory, and just for some reason have not been able to just like, hey, somebody in the warehouse, go look at these and see what they say. If it's wrong, just change them.
Yeah, that happened to me. It was funny. I ordered Ghostbusters and they sent me Goosebumps. I'm like, well, they begin with G and they're both sort of spooky, but
Ghostbusters. Yeah, GB. Yeah, you can kind of see maybe where they were going with that.
But Dead Rising 4 was correct, and I did film myself opening the box just in case, because that would have been really funny. Anyway, I'll let you guys continue your space.
No, yeah. So
I was going to say more Mass Effect.
Yes. Have you tried any of the multiplayer?
I did during the early access trial. I played a couple of matches with Rich on True Achievements and somebody else whose username I've forgotten. And it seemed to be remarkably similar to the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which I did like. Obviously it had all these new enemies, and as I hadn't played the single player yet, I was a little confused as to what they were. But it seems like more of the same stuff as we've had before. I just haven't had a chance to play any more. I need to get a group together.
I played a little bit the other night with a couple of friends of mine, and it's about the same. In the same way, like for Mass Effect 3, I didn't care about the multiplayer. It's not a game that I want to play multiplayer. I don't really, whatever. I mean, it's nice that there's a lot of interaction between the two worlds, like between the single player and the multiplayer. You earn, rewards that go across both of them and stuff. But I don't know. I did actually take a look at the microtransaction screen, and for only $100, you could buy all sorts of Mass Effect trinkets and stuff. Yeah, no, it was bad.
It's a ridiculous exchange rate.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to charge that much after already having bought the game, you should get more, pixels for your buck.
And it's only...
Or they just shouldn't be there at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's a way to continue generating revenue, and people will buy it. I mean, the developers have to make money.
Yeah, but I just... Then sell your game for $30.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's the thing, is like, you gotta kind of pick one. Like, you don't get to charge the high price for your game and then also charge the same as a free game for ridiculous microtransaction prices.
Why not?
It's just like...
I mean, they spent 5+ years in development. That's a lot of people hours gone into that.
But how many millions are they making selling their games, though? And how many millions do they make on their last games and their last DLCs?
Well, considering the cost of development's probably gone up over the years, but the cost of the games haven't, I imagine that, it would take a lot of copies sold to break even, and microtransactions is a good way of bringing in revenue. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. If people want to pay to play, then they can. And there will be people that do that because they have the cash and they want to support the devs.
But at the same time,
it's not like they're forcing you to do it.
No,
but a lot of games do that. I mean, that's my default assumption is when there's microtransaction in a game, they're designing that game to get you to buy those. But
there's always a way to do most of the stuff for free as well.
Yeah, but when they make it take 3, 4, 5 times as long grinding, but say, hey, $20. You could skip that grinding. That wouldn't be here if we didn't have microtransactions. I don't know. That's my issue.
I think my issue tends to be the price, right? So, for example, and I don't know again, I only glanced at the Mass Effect microtransactions, but playing Gears 4 recently, even Halo 5. I mean, this is all over the place. And then, of course, any mobile games that you play, this is everywhere. My issue is, like, if I'm going to pay, if I've already paid specifically, like in Mass Effect, if I've paid $70 for this game, $60 for the base game, and say $100 should get me everything. It shouldn't get me a chance to get everything. $100 extra dollars should unlock every single thing in that game. I don't like.
Yeah, because you're effectively paying for the game 1.5 more times over.
Right. So, like, it's absurd to me that if I give you $100 extra dollars after I've already paid for the game, I get a bunch of shiny chests that give me a 0.3% chance of unlocking something special. Now, I get a bunch of them, but I have no guarantee that anything useful or exciting or interesting will come out of this transaction.
It's like a trading card game. You get blind packs.
Yes. Well, yes. Right.
Yeah, but
it's always been about random chance.
You can trade them away, though. I don't know.
Yeah, you can earn the chests for free. You know, you just have to play the game. I mean, on Mass Effect 3, my friends and I, we used to play it religiously every week. We unlocked every single character and pretty much every single challenge. You know, I mean, we put hours into it, but it's the same with any game. You know, you're not going to get something for nothing. You're not going to get everything just handed to you. You do have to do some work.
No,
I can understand where you're coming from.
I don't
look at it from the developer's side.
That you should have to just. I don't disagree that you should have to do work to unlock things. It's just my experience with microtransaction games is they just design the game to suck your money, and and like you were saying, Proulx, as well, like the prices are just outrageous. And it's like, okay, price it more fairly. Like games do with skins. I mean, you can buy a skin for like $2. I mean, that takes very little work. You know, it's absolutely completely optional. It does nothing to affect the actual gameplay. It's not super addictive like getting skins, you know, your random chance skins out of chests. You just buy it for $2 and then you have it.
Does it give you an advantage?
No.
Well, so even if it does give you...
That's the thing with the microtransactions on the pay-to-play games, you know, sort of so-called freemium, the freemium model is, you know, what you're purchasing does give you an advantage, or at least, you know, a pool of items that you can use to boost yourself over a difficult patch. And, you know, people would argue that, you know, you've got to pay a little bit more for that. It's not like if people charge like $100 for a skin or what was it, horse armor, then something that doesn't add any value whatsoever, then complain. But if it adds value, you're paying for that value.
Well, and that was my point too, because I say in Mass Effect, I wanted a particular character or a particular gun. I can't go to the store, the Mass Effect store, and spend $5, $10 on that gun. I have to spend $10 on a pack that gives me a tiny chance to get that gun. That's my biggest issue with it, is the fact that you're gambling your money to get the things that you want. It's not never, but very rarely is it presented in a way that, hey, I don't want to spend all my money, but you're going to make me buy a pack and buy a pack and buy a pack until I get the thing that I want. And I think that's
how they make the money.
Well, yeah,
that's the whole point of it.
But it feels dishonest. It doesn't feel fair.
It's like, you're getting people addicted to spending money on your slot machine effectively to try and get the skin they want.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, that's what Dr. Jen was saying is, you know, there's a psychology behind, or Tarragon may have brought it up. There's a psychology behind it. They've specifically designed it to play into people's addictions.
Oh, that feels
to play into people's wanting to collect everything.
But that's not a good thing.
Like Pokemon.
Didn't say it was. You just say that people, the developers have to make money.
Right, but I think
but do they need to make that much money?
It just feels manipulative. Like you're talking about it. It's literally designed to get people addicted. Yes, and that's what it feels like most of the time. If it was, hey, pay $1. You can pay $1 for any character you want, but you have to pay $1 for each character. I mean, it looks, I guess, kind of like Killer Instinct, right? It's not like
Killer Instinct does a great, perfect free-to-play model. That is, you know, it's you can wait for your character to come around for free, or you can pay $5 and own it. And there's more skins. If you want different skins that are cosmetic only, you can pay extra for those too, and you could unlock any one of them for a price that's set. No gambling.
But then the revenue stream dries up, and studios need
the
money to continue developing games.
Look at League of Legends. That's what they do. You just buy skins. People keep buying them. I don't.
They have competitions as well, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do.
Killer Instinct does. I mean, but I guess my point is you don't have to addict people to your game to have a good, successful revenue stream. You don't have to manipulate people into spending too much money. You don't have to set it up.
You don't have to spend the money.
No, it's true. Of course, it's true. It's just, I mean, I don't have a problem.
It's doing more harm than good.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with paying extra after the game comes out. If, you know, I don't know, if they come out with like the Commander Shepard skin pack for Mass Effect Andromeda tomorrow, and I really wanted it, right? Or like you can play as all the old characters and it's $5 or $10.
You can get N7 armor.
Yeah. Oh well, that's true. But I would have no problem paying for that because that would be fun and cool and interesting and something. And even if it was only cosmetic, I'm like, oh yeah, totally. I'll throw the money down. But if they're like, no, it's just going to get into the pool of the stuff that you might get, but I think that's what feels like unfair and manipulative. And I think that's my biggest issue with it. Again, I have no problem with microtransaction models. There have been games that I play. I'm a huge Pokemon Go advocate, and that is a totally freemium model. And it does it fairly well, I would say. It doesn't force you to do it. Of course, you can. There are ways around it. It's more time, but if you want to just save some time, throw a few bucks at it, support the developers, you can totally do that. Again, specifically with Mass Effect, I don't have enough experience or time put into it to say which way it lands. But overall, it's just like the danger is to push towards that kind of put your money in here. Maybe you'll get something good. Maybe you'll get nothing. And that's, I think, frustrating.
That's the trading card model. You know, that's always been, you know, you get your blind pack. You might get a good card in. You might get your, you know, sparkly Charizard or whatever.
Trading cards have a transferable value too, though. I mean, I guess Counter-Strike does it that way, where I guess you can sell the skins when you get them, but it's like it kind of takes a trading card model and takes away the trading part, where you're just stuck with the junk. You can't, you know, maybe you can recover a little bit from the junk. You know, you can sell a bunch of your commons for a couple bucks to buy another pack or whatever. You know, once you get your junk cards,
don't get duplicate characters.
Well, that depends on the game.
Your junk is consumables. It's useful for the game. You get med packs and rocket launchers and stuff. You know, if you've already got the character, they're not going to give you another character because you can't trade it away.
Well, that depends on the game. There have been plenty of games where you can definitely get repeatables.
I'm talking specifically about Mass Effect.
I mean, I'm talking in general because I have not played any Mass Effect or this one. So
I don't know whether Hearthstone lets you trade. That seems to be a random chance game. I haven't looked into it enough.
Is Gwent going to be that model as well? I'm not
free.
Sure.
Well, you have to pay if you want like the cool packs and the cool skins and stuff.
I don't know. I have less of an issue when you're doing. I mean, I don't like the, you know, addicting people to your game in any situation to get money out of them, but you know, I have a little more forgiveness when it's free in the first place and you can play it for free to a good extent. But then when you put that kind of stuff in your $60 game, and even when you have a game like Overwatch, I mean, Overwatch, all of the microtransactions are cosmetic, and I'm sure they make a killing. but they keep adding a bunch of other content for free.
Yeah, but Overwatch and Mass Effect are two completely different games. I mean, Overwatch is pure multiplayer, whereas Mass Effect, you're paying $60 for a large single player story. The multiplayer is essentially the free bit that they've added on so that people get more replayability. You're paying for the story. You're paying for the world, the exploration, the characters.
I'm kind of surprised too. I mean, I guess it was kind of an aspect of I didn't even play the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer until years after that game came out. And I guess it was an aspect of it, but it's really surprising to me that, in a way it's surprising, I should say, and in a way it's not, that they're pushing it so hard this time. I mean, it's front and center. It's there the whole time. And again, I've very limited experience, so I'm not going to judge it too harshly. I don't know how integrated it is and how well it fits in or not. But I just got discouraged when I looked at the store page, and it's like, oh, just spend $100 and you can get 20,000 Mass Effect bucks or whatever. And I'm like, I'm never gonna do that. And maybe I'm not the target audience for it or whatever. It makes me feel like my efforts in the multiplayer is almost meaningless, because if they're trying to push me to do that, then they're never going to give me anything really worthwhile. I mean, maybe they will.
No, that's not true.
I may be wrong, but that's how I felt.
If it's anything like Mass Effect 3, we unlocked everything just by playing. It took a little while, but we were trying to get gold. We were trying to do all the extractions on gold, so we had the time. And we got all the characters, leveled them up and everything.
But did Mass Effect 3 have microtransactions?
Yes.
Yeah.
It did? For consumables?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They always have. Well, it's the same with Plants vs. Zombies. You can buy the packs and the stars, whatever it is currency-wise, to get extra stuff. You don't have to. If you play enough, then you get rewarded with the free stuff. It's people that don't want to put in the effort that will pay, or the people that have the money. And that's often how those models are supported. You've got the 0.1% that will spend thousands of dollars, and the rest of people get to enjoy it for free because of that.
Well,
we'll see how it goes, I suppose.
It's true. I mean, games are evolving. The industry changes over time, and I don't have a problem with microtransactions on the face. And sometimes you do it well, sometimes you do it not so well, just like any other thing. So, hey, what?
It's good to debate it. That's the point.
I was just going to say,
we were having fun.
We just that conversation came out of nowhere, and I'm sure we're going to hear from all the listeners, because let us know what you think. It's obviously none of us agree here, really. I mean, let us know how you feel about microtransactions. Do you find them annoying? I wonder how many people. We should put up a poll of just how many people. Yeah, we
should do like a write-in poll.
Yeah. What do you write-in poll? Fill out an essay.
We know where I stand. I still think they're a plague. That's not going to change.
I think some good comes out of it. I like the little bits of content. It's for a long time the model was, here's the game, have fun, and nothing will ever change. And then the model kind of adjusted to, here's the game, every 6 months you might get a huge expansion pack. And now we're kind of going into...
I like that. I like when DLC was called expansion packs. Because there was stuff in those. It wasn't some stupid tacked on map pack. It wasn't 30 minutes of nothing in single player for $15.
Or Rivals.
That was a real add-on that had some actual content in it. And it was called an expansion pack.
That's what they did with The Witcher 3, wasn't it? They took it back to doing expansion packs. Yeah, Blood and Wine, is that right?
That's right.
Was like another, God knows how many hours, like 20, 30, 40 plus. It was called an expansion pack.
Because the last expansion pack I remember was Oblivion. Shivering Isles.
Was
called an expansion pack.
Oh, like actually called an expansion pack?
Well, called an expansion pack and actually, had content worthy of being called an expansion pack.
Well, just on that specific topic, I mean, I just played Skyrim. They're two of the three expansions for Skyrim are significant enough to call expansion packs, without a doubt. Mass Effect, we're talking, Mass Effect 2 and 3 had incredible DLC that I don't know if you...
I thought Mass Effect 2's DLC was really short. Or was that just one of them?
That was... I'm trying to remember. There was Omega, right? Which was pretty large. Or was that 3? I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at the list.
That was
I think
3.
3 had a big one.
3 had a couple of big ones, for
3
sure.
had a couple of big ones.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 had some big ones and some little ones where you just got extra characters and missions to go with.
Yes.
Kasumi and the bounty hunter dude whose name I've forgotten.
Oh, Zaid? Is that it?
Zaid!
Yes.
Yes.
Mass Effect 1 had terrible DLC. Like tiny bitty DLC that really didn't do much. Literally, one of it was literally just a store, I'm pretty sure. It was just like a space station store that you went to and you got extra gear.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I also purchased that and then realized that I got a blinking code in my disc box.
Oh,
and I'm like,
oh no.
Oh my God, I facepalmed so hard after that. I felt like a fool, but hey,
that can be frustrating.
Oh, Dragon Age Origins Awakening.
Oh,
that was an expansion pack.
It came out on a disc too, a separate disc. Yeah, that's true.
That was
you could get. I think you could get
hours.
all of Dragon Age's DLC on a disc, couldn't you? The first one?
If you get the Game of the Year edition, you get everything. I think is how it works. But when the games,
there was an expansion pack disc too. I think.
Yes, it was called Awakening, and it's literally just the expansion. And I have it. In fact, it's great. It's amazing. It's
It's amazing.
25 hours of extra content. Essentially, it's basically in another game almost. I mean, pretty close to it.
It's like a sequel type ish situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I doubt we'll ever see ananother one of those, like an extra disc,
Well, because we've got Blu-ray now.
Coming out on.
It makes me think too, like, so you remember when The Sims was first popular and they started coming out with expansions,
Sims expansion.
but they started to kind of
jobs
stretch the definition of expansion. I'm pretty sure I just saw a thing that they're coming out with like The Sims 4 or 5, whatever, on bowling, and like that's the expansion now. Back in the day,
it's
like
the GTA 4 expansion.
yeah, exactly.
You go bowling with your cousins.
But no, of course, the game industry is changing and always will and always is, and we moved from these big giant 6-month apart content packs to these smaller things. And I agree with you, Randy. I do like the big stuff that comes out, but I also kind of like not having to wait forever for new stuff. So if you're going to like maybe give me a new mission here or a new character or even a new costume, so I don't mind paying for the little bits in between.
I have no problem with waiting. If it's going to be good, I have no problem with waiting because I have so many games to play. I have more games than I'll ever have time to play. And then if I somehow run out of Xbox games, I've got a whole other bunch of like old PC games and stuff that I would love to play. And yeah, I would much rather have kind of how it was in the expansion pack era where you have smaller teams, smaller budgets, but generally higher quality content. I mean, it's not like an action movie, where all the graphics are super amazing and it's all this stuff, but it's I don't know. I feel like it has more heart, and I don't know when.
A lot like nostalgia glasses, Randy. It sounds awfully lot.
We do know my nostalgia glasses are very thick, but
and rose tinted. But you see that's the thing.
Thick.
Is if you're really invested in a game like a franchise like Mass Effect. So I played Mass Effect 3 when it first came out, and I played it all the way through. I think I spent like best part of a week just playing it through, and I finished it. And then people complained about the ending, so they brought out an extended ending, and then they brought out DLC, and it was really cool. But you had to either replay or somehow get back into a previous save to get the missions to show up. And it wasn't quite the same as having like Awakenings, where it was a separate game, like an expansion pack is like a separate game on it.
Like that you would just access from the main menu, like, expansion packs,
exactly.
Awakening or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. When it's something, in fact, Dragon Age has done a lot of that because a lot of their DLC is like a separate story that you've got from the menu, and I like that. But with the extra missions, it's great, except that when you have to like replay a whole chunk and you maybe don't want to replay, because you were committed to the series and you bought it early, or you bought it on release. So, I mean, I don't mind going back and replaying stuff, but when you've already finished it and put it away, and then I'm like, oh, no, I've got to get it out again.
Yeah, and then they come out 6 months later with the ending, and I just want to see the ending.
Yeah,
which I
still haven't seen. I still haven't gone back to play the extended. Well, because the save I've got is like it saves you like right before you go into the last battle, but the last battle takes hours, and you can't. There's like auto saves, but you can't do a manual save, so you have to replay like the entire final sequence, which is several hours investment. And so I still haven't gone back. I will at some point go back for my Insanity playthrough because I want to get the completion. And I will finally see the extended ending. But then if I want to see all of them, I've either got to YouTube it or play it through 4 times.
Yeah, just YouTube it.
Yeah. I know. But it's not quite the same when it's not the right shepherd. It's like, it's not me.
The extended ending is... Well, I won't say anything about it. You watch and then we'll talk about it once after you actually get in and get to experience it. But
yeah, well, I actually liked the original. I had no problem with it until people started complaining, and then of course you start thinking, and then it goes all weird in your head. It happened with Assassin's Creed 3. I enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3, but then everyone's complaining about it, so of course now it's sullied.
And you see all of the flaws because people have pointed them out to you.
Yeah, hence why I've not read any of the Mass Effect reviews, and I'm trying to avoid everything because I just want to enjoy my game.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Anyway,
so yeah,
my nostalgia glasses and dislike of things that get too popular. That's my stance.
You have you're the youngest person to have the oldest man attitude that I know. Get off my lawn. Things were so much better in my day. Like
shouting at clouds.
Yep.
Hey, I've been playing games for a long time. Okay.
All right.
You guys have probably been. You guys have probably been playing them longer than me.
It's okay.
I do also wear like slippers and pajamas all the time at home. Like if that adds to me being an old man.
It does, because I haven't even seen a pair of slippers in years. I don't even...
My slippers are owls.
That's fun.
Slippers.
I don't even understand the point of slippers.
They're so cozy.
Yeah, they're cozy. I've got socks on and I still put slippers on.
Oh, I always wear socks on my slippers because my feet get super sweaty, and then it just ruins my slippers.
And if my feet get hot, then I take the slippers off. No. Otherwise, gross.
Got to keep them on all day. No, I really want UGG slippers.
Oh,
they have UGG slippers?
I've heard that they're amazing.
Oh.
But they're expensive. So now that I have a job, I may be able to treat myself to UGG slippers.
So you heard it here first.
Are terrible. They have no arch support. I literally watch people walking down.
Wait, do any slippers have arch support?
No. I mean,
mine do.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm out of this slipper game. I don't know anything about it.
My slippers don't currently, but I mean, they're not for wearing like out and about. They're UGG brand, and like you can take out the liners and stuff and wash them. So like if they get dirty and sweaty, you can wash them and not have to buy new slippers.
Do you guys wear slippers during the summer as well?
No.
Okay.
It's too hot.
So it's just okay.
It's a winter thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But mine are washable. They've got arch support and they are owls. They have little wings. They're like booty things and they're so adorable.
Fancy.
They were a Christmas present from my brother and his girlfriend.
Oh, that is okay. I just don't live in the same world that you guys do. I guess I don't know. I don't think I've ever worn slippers in my whole life. So I don't know.
Like we also don't turn the heat up a ton either. So like when I lived in Berkeley, we never used the heat. So it was just blankets and slippers.
Did you need the heat in Berkeley?
It gets a little chilly. I mean, not like below freezing, but I mean it's still chilly.
All right.
In winter months. I mean, it doesn't get that much colder, but
for like a day, right? And then it goes back up to like 60.
Yeah, I mean, during the day, usually not, but like kind of in the evening. But the other thing too is like the temperature fluctuates a lot, because when I was taking summer classes, I would go. I think I went like 2 days a week, and I would go at, I don't know, I get there at like noon or something in shorts. I would wear shorts to school, but I had to bring a change of pants because it was so cold at night waiting for the bus that I had to change into pants because it was too cold to wear for the bus in shorts.
Because pants mean something different in the UK, and if you bought a change of pants to school, I'd wonder, So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm just laughing at you.
Yeah. So I mean, it got chilly, but not enough to justify using the heat. And then, I mean, here, obviously, you got to keep the heat on, otherwise the pipes freeze. But it's not,
and you too. I mean, will also freeze as well if you don't keep the heat on.
Yes. But not. I mean, we don't like crank up the heat to be super warm most of the time, unless we're like really freezing, and we'll turn it up for a few hours. But slippers and blankets, it's the way to go.
So
if I'm gaming, then slippers and blanket works, because I do not need to heat the entire house so that my toes don't get cold.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I use the blanket method. I don't need to wear indoor shoes all the time. I don't know, whatever.
So cozy.
It's just me.
My kitchen floor is cold.
So you heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. Next week, Mug of the Week is being replaced by Slippers of the Week, and it's our new segment.
That'll be over very quickly.
He'll just talk.
I only have one pair of
Joe
slippers.
has a lot of slippers.
Oh man. Well, I guess maybe everybody else could talk about their slippers. That'll at least last 4 or 5 weeks. So I don't know.
I'll have to find out a picture and get it in the show notes, because they're so adorable.
All right, guys. Let's see. That was we started talking about Mass Effect and ended on slippers. Only here at Z.
With a little bit of microtransactions in the middle.
Microtransactions. We could talk about how you could
buy a pair of UGG slippers for that stupid $100 pack.
Well, I'm not going to do either, so I think I'll probably save that money and maybe spend it somewhere else, but we'll see. So let's just talk about what we've been playing this week real quick. Joe, what have you been doing? Anything, or even you haven't been on in a little while. You can talk about anything you've been playing recently. How's it been going?
I've mainly been playing. What have I been playing? Oh, obviously Mass Effect. Fallout Shelter, of course. Stupid me started that, and then of course I need to get 20 legendary dwellers, so that's driving me nuts.
If you have a Windows 10 computer, you can.
I don't.
Because you can manipulate it big time on the PC, and it's not super bad.
So I played the game at launch and haven't played it since. And I do have a Windows 10 computer, and I enjoyed the game. I'm curious if I should bother doing it again for the achievements this time. I mean, it's fun, but how easily manipulatable is it, Randy? Like, do I have to
You just have to change your clock.
You just change your clock
over and over and over again. I got okay, all right.
Check out the guides on TA. They go into good detail about it. I think you may be able to double manipulate it. So you change your clock, get a bunch of lunchboxes, don't open them. Or you can just a lunchbox, and then you open it. If it's not what you want, you quickly close the app, relaunch it, and then it won't be opened, and it'll be a different content.
Oh, okay. That's super easy then. Okay.
So I don't know if that works like that anymore, but you definitely can manipulate your clock to just farm lunchboxes.
Okay.
And a few of the other more tedious things.
I don't like manipulating my clock. It just feels too much like cheating. I never did it for Batman. I'm not going to do it for Fallout.
Yeah, but Fallout just makes you play for too long, and
I didn't do it for Microsoft Solitaire and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I'm of the same mind as you. I generally tend to avoid doing stuff like that unless I really feel the need to do it. I haven't done it for Solitaire. I didn't for Batman or something like that. Halo has some achievements like that. I'll do it if I need that achievement for some reason, for competition or whatever. Because if it's like one day a year, I don't feel guilty about doing it. But if it's like change it 22 times in 1 hour. I'm just like, nah, I'll just go play something else. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, you just need to log in each day.
Yeah, exactly.
And collect some stuff. It's doable. You just have to give it some time to be patient. Randy,
patience.
you waited 10 years for achievements. I'm sure you can wait.
Okay. My other thing too is a lot of those games I don't trust that they're going to be up long enough playing it casually. So fortunately the Microsoft Casual collection has been very, successful enough to stick around. But I mean, there are games that have achievements that you should work on for 5 years and then close in 6 months. So it's kind of that thing part for me. I mean, one, if it's not considered cheating by TA, I'll do it. And two, I just don't trust that it's going to be around for long enough to do it for, in a reasonable amount of time. But
that's fair enough.
That's me.
But yeah.
That's the obsessive completionist part too. So
yeah.
I've also, of course, been playing Titanfall 360. So shout out to Tatey, Buck, Keith, McLovin, and Nerve, who have been joining me on this journey. We're somewhere around Gen 4, I think.
Yeah.
And have unlocked most of the achievements.
I give you guys credit
totally
going back.
Kicking your ass.
I was going to say, I give you guys credit going back and doing the 360 version, man.
Yeah, it's totally Tatey's fault.
That's good. Good on you, because it's it's not an easy thing to do. It's mostly a lot of time, but still, I don't know. I don't think I would ever go back and. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of effort to put in for a stack, but awesome.
Oh no, I know. I think it's just because we couldn't think of what other game we wanted to play in our boosting sessions. So we were just let's just do Titanfall again.
We have that all in our head. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
As you do. But I mean, we've got it down to an art now.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, but yeah, the guys are awesome and we have fun in boosting sessions, so. Oh, and yeah, and tell terrible jokes. Which I really like because I appreciate bad jokes because they're actually funny.
That's awesome. Randy, what about you? What have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been wanting to sleep a lot this week, but I did get in some good gaming still. Halo 4. I almost finished up Halo 4. I was hoping to have it done by this podcast, but the Bros to the Close, I think it's called, is just, what a dumb achievement. It's so frustrating. You have to keep 6 stupid AI guys, just regular AI guys, alive to the end of this mission on heroic. And if you've ever played Halo before, you know how dumb the AI is, and they just die instantly. There's one guy, multiple times. Now, fortunately, you can reload the checkpoint as many times as you want. But there's one guy that, half the time dies before I even get to where he is. He'll just die. I don't even know. There's, 2 enemies around, and it's I'm dead again. Okay, reload checkpoint. So if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be done Halo 4. I'll probably finish it this weekend. And I'm hoping Proulx can help me with that one later tonight after we're done recording.
I'll give it a shot. There's actually a very similar achievement, I believe, in Halo 5, where you have to keep these people alive. I think it's for the Spec Ops or whatever. Spartan Ops, I guess it's called. And in that one, you can actually push them off the cliff onto a lower cliff with your ghost. So that they are no longer even in the playing field. So that makes it much, much easier.
Yeah, this one, not so fortunate.
Yeah.
They just keep running. They just run forward to their death over and over
That's
again.
awful.
So, you have to be so fast. Because, you just have to run up. And, I mean, I probably die more than they do when I'm trying, just because I know if I don't play that aggressively, they're just going to die. Because you just have to kill everything around them before they get anywhere near it. Otherwise, it's the end. So I'm hoping with 2 people that gets a little bit easier. I went back to Subject 13. I finished up another chapter. I'm almost done now. Probably finish that one up this weekend too. We did talk about it in Reviews Ed last week, but Uncanny Valley, which I really enjoyed, I finished that up. And I have Rock Revolution on my random to-do list. So now my thing is I always, if possible, I pop my tutorial achievements last. And in Rock Revolution, I got a tutorial achievement on my random to-do list, which means if I'm going to get that achievement this month, I need to complete all the other achievements. Which,
no, you don't.
Yes, I do. That's how it works.
Oh dear.
Now, fortunately, I had already done the worst of Rock Revolution, mostly. I had already done the drum career, which is generally considered the hardest achievement. And I just had guitar career to go. And, oh, man. I was like a third done in terms of just unlocking the venue. So you have to complete all the gigs in all the locations on Expert to complete the game, basically. Then there's a few other miscellaneous things, play some online matches. None of that takes much time. It's really just the career. And the game is so bad. It's just... I was reading up on it again just because it was like... It was a failure in every way, and it is a truly, truly awful game. And I was looking... I think it said... I'm not sure if this was for the US or the world. It sold 5,000 copies on release week, which is not a lot of copies. It had this bizarre drum set that I think had 8 pads that were arranged in a circle for who knows why. They're like, drums aren't arranged that way. And they didn't like the colors on the drums the colors and shapes didn't correspond with the colors and shapes on screen. So it was just a mess. The whole game's a mess. All of the songs except for 2, I'm not sure why 2 weren't, were covers, and they were not very good covers. And they had these little challenge modes that were just... They're so frustrating because the ones are like, play a section and then play it back without notes. So you only see where the note is, not what it is. So you play the section twice, then... So you have to go through it twice, play it twice, which after you've played it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times is super easy. Then you get one shot to do it with the invisible notes, and if you don't get it, you have to reload the challenge, play it twice again, and then do it with the invisible notes. And there's just all these annoying things. Oh, it's so bad. It's $1.
It's the best music game you've ever played. Is that where we're landing on this right now?
I haven't played Power Gig. I have a suspicion that Power Gig is worse than Rock Revolution. But I don't know that. So we'll see.
I've even heard of half of these games.
Exactly. Power Gig, I think, was US only, but Rock Revolution had an EU stack. I don't know if there's any difference between them, but it does have 2 versions.
Does that mean you have to get the series completion and you're going to go for Rock Revolution again?
See, I do have the EU version of Rock Revolution, but after playing it again... don't know if I'd ever start that one. Maybe when I get my drums eventually again, but I don't know. The guitar career is rough. It is just so... Oh, the other thing is the note highway is not... like, so in Guitar Hero and Rock Band, you know how it's angled. So it comes at you at an angle, you can see more notes, and it kind of is more natural with placement, I guess. Like it's easier to just see where the flow is going. Well, in Rock Revolution, it's not angled. It's just flat. So you just have the notes coming down the screen just up and down.
So it's like DDR.
Yeah, except with way more notes than DDR usually has. I mean, DDR kind of works. This does not work.
Kind of works. DDR works great.
Yeah, I don't know. Would DDR be better angled?
That's a good question, because I was just thinking that it probably would. You'd probably have more time to.
You would probably read it better.
Yeah,
'cause I was just thinking that too. Because I agree, DDR works just fine. I used to play a ton of DDR, and I never had an issue with reading notes. But
imagine how much better you'd be. I actually think DDR would benefit even more because you have your whole body to reposition. For that game, as opposed to just your hands and stuff. But anyways.
I want to see this. I wonder if somebody has done it.
Or they could just release a modern DDR, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. That'd be great.
True. Now, this is made by the same company as DDR.
Oh.
It's well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I think it was developed by Zomode, which is notorious for like horrible, horrible games. I think their company slogan is the for hire developers. So they just make whatever they get hired to make. They made other hits such as You're in the Movies. There were a couple other real shovelware games. So, yeah. But I think it's called Bemani is involved too. And they're involved with Konami's music games. So they do Drumania, which also has a terrible highway, but a much better setup. And what's it called? I think Guitar Freaks or something. That was it was a pre-Guitar Hero guitar game that's also not really very good. And DDR, I think they're involved with DDR as well. So Rock Revolution, terrible game. It's been $1 at GameStop like forever. One time I was going to Canada and I forgot it. I was just like, oh, let's go buy another one. GameStop's right there. It's only $1.
That's nice, though.
I did the same thing twice with Rock Band 2. It was $3, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot it."
I wonder what.
Buy another one.
I wonder what 360 game had the biggest production run.
That's a good question. I would really like to know that.
I would imagine it's something like Modern Warfare or Halo 3. But anyways, I know
it could be the sports games.
It could be one of the sports games. Yeah.
I was wondering because they must have huge production runs.
Yeah, just like what game is worth the least amount of money that you could?
Well, the biggest production run isn't necessarily going to be worth the least. Well, either.
Of course, right.
Because you have games like Rock Revolution that had obviously a minimum production run and probably more than a minimum production run, and then sold 5,000 copies.
Right.
There were GameStops that I was going into years after this game came out, and they had like 10 new copies in the shelf behind the counter, sealed. I kind of wish I would have bought one, actually.
And it also makes me think. I'm curious now. What is the average 360 disc run versus the average one disc run? I'm sure. I'm sure it's much bigger. You think so?
I think so. Well, just given how much. Well, first of all, the one has a lot more kind of niche and obscure or very specific regional releases. For example, I just lost it. Duke Nukem, the Duke Nukem game that just came out. It was like the Duke Nukem 3D 20th anniversary or something.
Oh, right.
Only released at GameStop in the U.S. and it was a small run because they all sold out really quickly. So I imagine that's probably a minimum run and not a very big one. I don't know. Maybe GameStop's big enough that they can sell enough, they can move enough of those that you can have a bigger run. But there are games that have very small runs that I've probably never seen in a store, like Geometry Wars 3 got a physical release. I think Super Dungeon Bros got a physical release.
Oh, I want this.
Which have to be really small runs. Because even Shovel Knight wanted to do a physical release, but the minimum run was too big for them to sell. And that's like top of the line indie. So and then 360, of course, is totally not indie friendly at all. So I would suspect that the minimum run is much larger.
Yeah. That's I don't know why. That was just kind of curious to me.
Yeah. It would be really cool to see those stats, though. I would love to know, but I don't imagine there's anywhere public that we could get a hold of those. And I guess to finish off what I played, I've been
Sorry.
we played some Space Trek.
More.
Which is a really terrible game.
So fun. He's having a blast playing this game, let me tell you.
Man, that game is rough. This stupid commendation. That game would be way less bad if it wasn't for the commendations.
Yeah, if you could just run through the game, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, even with the collectibles, the collectibles aren't that bad. Even that stupid ship thing wasn't that bad, but the commendations are consistently bad because it's almost like you don't even know. There's just no guidance on what you can and can't do. Like that stealth section that we got kind of stuck on when we last played, where it's just can we take these guys out or not? And it just becomes trial and error, and it's frustrating because you get, you make progress and then you just have to guess and then you die.
It's it was even when it first came out, it was known as a pretty buggy and clumsy.
Oh, and the bugs, the space bugs.
Yeah,
the space bugs are kind of amazing though, because they're really just models stretching and popping in and flying around and stuff.
Do
those
they
are
spit
kind
acid?
of fun. They should.
The space bugs in Mass Effect spit acid.
Oh,
green and
you know
gross.
what? We haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm sure there are enemies that will spit acid at us. So
Yeah.
There's always enemies that spit acid. Well, I don't know if it's acid. It's green
lizards?
and looks horrible. I haven't seen any lizards yet.
Oh,
There are space dinosaurs.
There's space lizards in the Space Trek.
okay, guys, come on, let's calm down. Let me tell you what I've been playing, because you're gonna get me upset here. Okay, so I mentioned
Space Trek, space lizards, space bugs.
Randy, you're
Space
done.
elevator.
I'm cutting him off, people. I'm cutting him off. He's done. He's done for the show. No, as mentioned before, finished up Skyrim. Yeah, I already talked about that. So great, it's awesome. I don't have to. I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm done with it. Played Titanfall as per usual this week. Got a bunch of achievements again. It's really surprising to me. I kind of go into the session just trying to have fun and help people out, and then kind of work towards what I'm working towards. But I'm not super concerned about finishing that game. I don't know if I ever will or not. But occasionally, like last night, I got 3 or 4 achievements. Just random, complete all game types on this level mode and stuff like that. So that was good. I meant to mention this earlier. Rocket League just released a brand new mode with new achievements. It's called Drop Shot. And I know, Joe, have you played Rocket League at all?
No.
Okay. So neither of you are Rocket League fans. By the way,
Oh, I am going to start Rocket League now because they fixed all the broken achievements.
Yes, they did. Yep.
And that means I should just get in there and finish it because it's like a 10-hour completion and they might break it again.
I think the achievements may be even less than that.
Oh, I'll play it for fun too. I mean, there's going to be there's going to be years more of achievements, I'm sure. I just want to get all of them now while I can, and then I'll continue to play it here and there.
Yes, you definitely should. Pick it up, play it. I will play with you literally anytime. I love that game. In fact, I think later on tonight I'll probably be playing Rocket League.
I was actually just going to say I might join you tonight because I noticed that you were going to play.
Yeah, hop on, man. We'll walk you through it. It is. I don't know. It's not since God. I don't even know. Maybe not Mass Effect. Excuse me, Halo 2 or Halo 3, arguably. I don't know. There's not been like such a pure multiplayer experience that I just play just for the multiplayer experience, other than Rocket League. It's just the game that I can, when I'm like, look, I love Mass Effect. I'm kind of really into the Mass Effect thing right now. And I only had the game since Tuesday, so I've only had it for a few days. And the second or third day after I'm playing Mass Effect, one of my favorite series of all time, 2 of my friends are online playing Rocket League. And of course, Proulx's sitting right next to me, right? He's playing it. And they're like, you want to play? I can't say no. I can't. It's so pure, so fun, so crazy. Play Rocket League if you haven't. Please, please, please. Anyways, that's enough of that. The new game mode that came out, it's called Drop Shot. And it splits the field into two halves. And what you have to do is kind of poke a hole through the floor of your opponent's side and then score through it. I kind of didn't like it at first, but then as soon as we got used to it, I loved it. It's the same crazy, chaotic fun that Rocket League has. You're going to have a great time. Just stick with it for a little bit. Rocket League, amazing, but that's it. I won't talk about it anymore.
And to note, I have played Rocket League, just not on Xbox. I've played with my friend on PS4, so I have played it before.
Okay,
I just
all right.
haven't played the Xbox one.
Once you really start getting into it, you won't drop it. It's one of those games it's if let's just say for argument's sake, Randy, that achievement was never fixed. That is one of those experiences that you would have missed. Because this is something.
I still planned on playing it either way because
right.
I mean you can get it with the disc. I was just gonna.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot the disc. The disc actually worked.
Yeah, so it was never fully discontinued. You just had to have it. On a disc.
Why is that?
It's for some reason one of the updates broke the achievement.
Oh.
So if you have
and
the
then
disc,
the disc, you just play offline.
Oh, like Farming Simulator.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly like that.
Because the disc didn't have the recent. It had the achievement, but not the most recent update. So
hang on, you can play the multiplayer offline?
No, you don't have to play the multiplayer for almost all of the achievements. Essentially,
right, okay.
yeah.
Local, awesome.
That's why it's such a super easy completion as well. You can kind of basically play against bots for all of the achievements, and you can set them as low as you want. So it's really, really simple. Anyways, so played Rocket League, of course, and played the new mode, got a bunch of achievements in that, which are like, I don't know, 800, 900 TA, because we were literally playing as soon as the update went live. So I imagine that that decay will be nice for GTask. But
yeah, I see Fream played this week.
He did.
And got those achievements, so that'll be fun. Yeah. Actually, it looks like the decay seems to have already happened. I mean, he's less than 2,000 TA, so I don't think it's going to hit us next week. I think it'll have settled down by the cutoff time.
I think it dropped by like 2,500 or something.
Yeah, I think he was over 3,000 before, so that would be about right.
Over 3,000. Anyways, played. We didn't mention it or anything, but not GTA, excuse me. Xbox Live was down for a good day and a half. Well, not a day and a half, I suppose, but it was good for. So Tuesday. Okay, let me tell the story because
I had no issues.
Well, I need to tell the story.
I was playing on 360.
All right, it may be different for you. So here's the thing. I have the options, let's say, to kind of set my schedule for work. Sometimes. And I knew Mass Effect was coming out on Tuesday. So I'm like, you know what? I'll push my schedule around so I can get home early afternoonish on Tuesday instead of 5 o'clock per usual. Because Mass Effect's coming out. I cannot wait. This is going to be great. I get home. I put my disc in the drive. It does start installing, which is nice. Thanks, Xbox. But I can't sign into my profile. So I can't play. And it was only 2 hours, to be fair, but it felt like it was 2 weeks, essentially.
Why couldn't you sign into your profile?
The whole service was down.
Live was down.
Everything was down. You couldn't do anything.
But you can sign into your profile when you're offline.
Well, if you are technically online, I mean, I don't know what the term would be. Like my Xbox was connected.
It was trying to connect.
Exactly. It could not connect. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you didn't put it in offline mode and try it?
No. I'm a sucker for I just want everything to work when it's working properly, and I'm like, I'll just wait. I don't know. That's my.
But you still get timestamps.
I know, but it's my weird thing. I don't know. I'm like, I'll just wait. I know. I'm weird. Hey, you have weird things too, okay, man?
I know. But we both don't like potatoes.
It's true. Because potatoes are...
I know. That's the
are
normal response.
Awesome.
Potatoes are
potatoes.
the blandest, most boringest
roast
texture.
Potatoes and chip shop chips and baked potatoes and mashed potatoes. Potatoes
chips,
are yummy.
chips / fries / potato chips / crisps. All of those things I enjoy very much.
They're okay.
It's just like when you take a potato and don't fry it in oil for half an hour. I can't. It's the texture.
Potatoes are the most boring thing on the planet, essentially.
Not when you turn them into fries or chips.
Fries and chips are also fairly boring, but acceptable. I could eat them, but okay.
No.
Anyways, guys, we're getting off track here.
What do you
What's
like?
wrong with you?
I like pizza. So, quite a bit.
Please tell me you at least like chocolate, right?
Oh, yeah, I like chocolate. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. Phew.
I also...
All right, okay, you've redeemed yourself.
I love both, and I don't know how stickler you are, but I love white chocolate, which isn't technically chocolate, and dark chocolate as well. So I enjoy all spectrums of chocolate very much.
I like orange chocolate.
Orange chocolate is good. Mint chocolate is probably my favorite, but orange chocolate is very close.
Like
Chocolate's
orange?
weird.
I was going to say, are you talking about the chocolate orange where you
orange.
slam it?
Oh, I love the chocolate orange.
Terry's
So
chocolate orange.
Yes.
Best thing ever.
good. So good.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I haven't actually. I saw one at Chris's house. His son really likes them.
Well, yeah, I would imagine like slamming it down on the table would be super fun.
You
Yeah.
don't have to slam it.
But they do it in the
but
commercials.
that's part of the fun.
And it's part of the fun. You know, it's part of like the eating
Well,
experience.
It is until you accidentally poke the corner of the table through the bottom thing and then get chocolate everywhere.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because it's only
That'll
wrapped
do
in
it.
foil.
But no.
And besides, it says tap and unwrap, not slam.
Well,
No, here
in America.
I don't know about America, but Canada, I'm pretty sure it was smash and unwrap.
Oh no! If you're talking Terry's, it's proper English. It's tap because we're very
No.
delicate here.
No, yeah, it is Terry. It was Terry's brand, but I distinctly remember something about smashing or slamming.
I just remember the commercials. I don't.
Yeah, because like the commercials were like bam, bam, bam. Like,
No, I always thought you like literally had to punch it onto the table or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe it is just my American in me, but I don't know.
I just give it a little squeeze and then
No,
it sort of
I-
breaks apart. But yeah.
I
Anyway,
think
it's
that
not
was
Terry's.
just
It's mine.
marketing to Americans and Canadians, probably a little more
Possibly.
violent.
Yeah.
I know. I really do like mint, though. Mint, kind of anything is. I love mint.
Not fun.
Wow, how did we even get there? How did we get to chocolate again?
I don't know.
How do we get to potatoes?
Potatoes.
Oh, that's right.
Because that's how we got to
We got-
chocolate.
Something you were weird.
What was I talking about? I was trying to talk about Grand Theft Auto. So I was talking about being weird because I didn't want to.
Oh,
Xbox Live
right,
was
'cause
down.
your 360, you wouldn't fix your
Yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned potatoes.
Yes.
And that's how we got into
So
that.
anyways,
Yep.
anyways.
Wonderful thought trains.
So I played a little bit of GTA just because it was the closest disc I had. Because I couldn't play any of my Xbox Live games because for some reason that was not working properly. Just a little bit. I played a little bit of the single player. Not really important. I played some basically idle boosted for most of the week. Gears of War 2 for my random to-do list. I had the Party Like It's 1999 achievement where you have to do, of course, 1999 rounds of multiplayer. Well, I'm thinking here,
That's a lot.
I'm thinking that the achievement will just pop when I hit it, right? So I turn my Xbox on, I set it up. I set it up to do the rounds, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get it in the morning. I only had 200 or 300 at the time, so I had no idea how long this would take. So, okay, I don't get it in the morning. Fine, I'll leave it on, and maybe I'll get it throughout the day. And when I get home from work, I can turn off the Xbox and be done with it. Nope, didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I will leave it on for one more night. So I leave it on for another night, and I wake up in the morning, still don't have the achievement. What's going on? Well, it froze at some point, and it also doesn't really save itself until you quit the matches that you're in. So I learned my lesson, and I got that achievement eventually. Just for people to know. I also played completely through Cell Damage HD. I got 1,000 in that this week. You guys, you know anything about this game? Either of you?
No.
I know it's super easy.
It is super easy. It's a kart. I want to say kart racer, but essentially it's a kart game where you have to play through racing, battling, and capture the flag on a bunch of different maps, and then you're done. It's probably about 3 hours until you get the whole thing. Not bad, but that was it. That was it for me. All right, well, that's what we've been playing. But do you guys have anything coming up? I mean, Joe, both you and I'm sure, are going to be playing Mass Effect for quite a bit here.
Yeah, very much so. That's my next couple of weeks with little bits of time falling dispersed. Real quick, because like my plan, I'm playing on normal and I'm just playing through, again, kind of like you are, not really worried about the achievements or anything. I'm just going to play through on normal and then I'm going to do my Insanity run right afterwards. What are your plans? Are you going to do 2 playthroughs back to back or what? I don't know. I mean, when I played Dragon Age, I just played it all through on Nightmare and did the whole thing all in one go. But I sort of wanted to have the chance to explore without having to grind to level up. So I'll probably do what I did with the other ones and leave the Insanity run to a second playthrough later on, rather than doing it back to back. It depends. I mean, if it's something I can think that I can go through again and maybe get different choices, but I don't know how varied it would be because I'm pretty much exploring everything right now.
Lots and lots of scanning. What about you, Randy? What are you going to do? I mean, you know what? I know you're going to play some Star Trek, but what else are you going to do besides that?
That's true. We will play Space Trek with the space lizards and space guns.
And spaceships.
And space battle.
Space battle, yeah. Of course, spaceships. So yeah, Space Trek. I want to try and finish up Rock Revolution. We'll see how that goes. Depends on how angry I get at it. But I'm pretty close, so I'll probably finish that up. That'll knock another one off my random to-do list. I got my second copy of Transformers, so I will be boosting the multiplayer in that, and hopefully getting that leaderboard achievement that's on my random to-do list, which is not a tough leaderboard achievement, but it is still a leaderboard achievement. And I also caved and bought Dead Rising 4 on Amazon. So I think, and the reason for that is, one, it was super cheap. And not like super, super cheap. I mean, it was still above my usual kind of buy instantly threshold. But it was cheap enough, and I'm pretty sure they're going to break something. So I want to get it done now before they break something again. So I'm going to get to work on that quickly. And then, of course, as mentioned before, Rocket League for the same reason. Because I'm afraid they're going to break something again. So I just want to get it done now while it's possible. And then I can hope that they fix the PC version of Dead Rising 4. So I can actually get the series completion again.
You know, it sounds like you have quite the week ahead of you.
I think so. I probably won't get all of that done, but we'll see.
Aim high, for sure.
Yep.
So here's the thing.
No, aim low and then you won't be disappointed.
Oh. Wait a minute. Are you saying right now that Randy is going to be the optimist in this conversation and you are going to bring him down?
No, I'm a realist.
Well, I mean, I could call myself that too, but in reality, I'm a rain cloud.
It's been really fun doing the show here, and it went in directions I wasn't expecting. It was a good time. And here's the thing. I don't have to willingly give the show back to Fream. I don't have to.
He can tear it from your dead cold hands.
It won't change a lot's back.
Yeah, he can try it. But we're gonna throw it back to Fream. I've had a lot of fun talking with you, Randy and Joe, and thank you for coming on, and thank you to Fream for throwing it to us. And this is a little different. And we talked last week about the length of the show, and you know what, we slipped in under the mark that everybody was kind of aiming for. So let us know how you feel about it, the length of the show. But Randy and Joe, let's say goodnight. Anything else you want to say before we head out?
Don't forget about reviews, Ed. That's coming up before we give it back to Freem.
Oh, that's right. And what are we reviewing this week?
I don't remember.
Oh, well, okay. Insert Randy audio clip here.
Well, I just want to say this has been immense amounts of fun. And thank you so much for recording slightly earlier so that I didn't have to go to bed at 4 a.m.
Normal human times.
By the way, we have no problem recording earlier.
Yeah. But no, it's cool. And also it's kind of like, you know, while the adults are away, the kids get to play. And that makes me feel young. But yeah, it's way past midnight here. For some reason, my tummy is rumbling, but I'm not tired. So yeah, I will,
Sounds like you need to eat a chocolate orange.
If only I had one in the house. I have to go buy one tomorrow. But it's been real cool. So thank you, and good night.
All right, so this week on Review Zed, I am joined by Randy as usual.
Yep.
Yeah, and we will actually be covering 2 games. So the first one we are covering is...
One of us will be.
Okay, fine. I'll be recovering. Well, so first though, let's attack Spheroids. So this was published and developed by Eclipse Games. It came out on February 10th, 2017 for Xbox One as well as Windows 10. So it is a Play Anywhere title with an Xbox Live Store price of $7.99 US or in-country equivalent.
And an extra special thanks to Eclipse Games because they offered to give us their whole backlog as well to review. So that was very cool of them.
Yeah. So now this is the only one that was a Play Anywhere title. So not really part of the game reviewing, but actually as one of the first games that I've played that used Play Anywhere, I thought this was actually kind of cool because, again, I have the one as some people know or others may not, so I travel a lot for work. So I use a mobile workstation running Windows 10 as one of my devices that I'm on the road a lot with. So one of those dilemmas is I have this great powerful workstation that can easily handle playing games. However, your Xbox One's at home. So you've started a game and okay, I'm on the road for a few days. I guess I can't play it. So here comes this great feature. So I started the game on the Xbox One, and then the next day, actually, I just happened to be upstairs watching Brielle, and I was able to continue exactly where, I mean, the syncing and everything is just flawless. Literally, it just pulled my save down from the cloud. I advanced where I was. All the counters are in sync. It was like one of those things like, here's what they promised, and they delivered on it.
Actually what they promised.
It was. Because I've had so many problems. I don't know if a lot of people use streaming, but I've tried to do streaming a lot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If I'm using
streaming your Xbox One to your PC or streaming on Beam / Twitch.
Yeah, streaming from an Xbox, from the Xbox One to a Windows 10 PC on the same network. If you're even LAN connected, you might get lagging. It might just not connect. You can ping. Oh, it's the streaming feature it's a nice feature when it works. Yeah. So Play Anywhere, when this works, if this is how things actually work, I'm excited for this. So again, not part of the review, but they used it. Great feature set. One of the things that is. So this is a retro sort of action platformer game. However, you know what it reminded me of? Blaster Brothers. That's the one where you shoot the spikes up in the sea.
I never played Blaster Brothers.
Oh, okay. You should play Blaster Brothers, and then you could be like, oh yeah, it's totally like that.
Just like Spheroids.
Just like Spheroids. So Blaster Brothers, and it definitely had that 8-bit nostalgic, here's the retro graphics. However, there was definitely...
it was more like 16-bit, but either way. Pixely retro graphics.
Yeah, pixely retro, except for the spheres. They were fully round.
Yeah.
So,
I think they did a very good job. Now, usually we criticize on the pixel graphics. Now, it's, again, kind of unnecessary, and it's kind of weird, especially with the spheres, because, I mean, if you made the spheres pixely, like, it would actually look and play basically like a Super Nintendo game. And you'd wonder if you could just like, you know, kind of put it on actual hardware and run it. But I think they did a very good job with both the soundtrack and the kind of backgrounds and scenery, as they really both reminded me a lot of games of that time.
Oh yeah, like, they nailed the nostalgia.
Yeah, not just in a kind of you threw it together lazy way.
Yeah. So the premise is basically these spheres are all around the world, and you were there, and you keep going back to this kind of kooky scientist at the end of each world, and you might get a power upgrade or something like gravity boots
to new enemy or something.
Yeah, exactly, and just kind of advance through eight worlds. There's not really much challenge to it, because even if you die, there's no penalty for dying. You just respawn at the last checkpoint, and
you do lose your temporary power-ups. That's the only thing you lose if you die, which is really not. You basically just don't use them because you just keep dying and just run back. All the progress you made has still been made, and
oh yeah, you find your corpse on the ground, but if you had blasted away half the enemies, they are gone. It doesn't checkpoint like come back and all the enemies, and you have to redo it. So you can literally just throw bodies at an enemy until it eventually dies. Which, hey, doesn't make it super hard, but it also makes it, not super frustrating. Just
no, it's not frustrating. And I don't know. I felt like, and I don't know if it would have been, if you had to actually restart every section without dying or running out of lives, I don't know if it would have made it so hard that it was frustrating, or if it would have just kind of actually made you be careful.
Yeah,
I kind of tried playing like that for a little bit, and then I was just like, okay, I'm just going to throw bodies at it.
Yeah, you're like, meh.
Yeah.
I could try to be good at this. No need.
Yeah.
So for the achievements, now I don't know. Have you finished off the last world yet, or no?
No, I haven't. I beat World 4, so I got halfway. I just got the gravity boots.
Okay, so from going through all 8 worlds, there's 3 achievements you probably won't have completed, and that's use the dynamite power up 25 times, use the stop time power. It literally was maybe 30 minutes of regrinding the first through second, Japan through Brazil, to pick those up. So
I thought it looked like it wasn't going to be too bad, especially the first world, because there were a lot of power-ups there.
Yeah, and as you go back, once you've gotten through World 8, going back and playing the first 2 worlds is just, oh my gosh, it's so much easier. Like, oh, you know where everything is. You just kind of, if anything, you try to do things like, oh, I'm just going to go use my gravity. Oh, wait, I don't have them yet.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it was a fun game. I don't know. It's one of those, it would have been nice if it was a little more challenging. It could have stood to be, but.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's bad. It's very, I don't know, I want to call it kind of mindless. It's just, it's kind of got like a catchy soundtrack, really simple game, something you maybe play for 30 minutes here and there. And I think that's kind of where the play anywhere part would shine with this, because it's the type of game that you would just play a little session of maybe when you have a minute on your laptop or on your Xbox or wherever you are. And it's cool that I think this might be the only ID game that uses Play Anywhere.
Yeah, I think so far it is.
If not, there may only be 1 or 2 others, but it's cool that they, I assume, saw that as something that would benefit the game and then used it. So it was cool that they did that.
Yeah, so for, this, and at that price point of $7.99, you can't go wrong at that. I mean, it's affordable.
Easy. The game is fun. It's Play Anywhere if you've got Windows 10.
Yeah. So it just is. Yeah, exactly. It's just overall solid. I was happy with it. Again, for kind of like some of those games where it was fun enough where it could have stood to be a little more challenging, but for what they did, they put together a solid game, and at that price,
it's a fun game. It's not. Don't expect something really kind of deep or in depth. It just something fun.
Yeah. And if you're in it for the gamer score, it's 1,000 gamer score, fairly easy.
Probably 3 hours ish.
Yeah, I think mine said 6, but I think I sat like on a pause screen a few times just.
Yeah, because I don't know how long it took me to get to World 4, but I guess I don't know how long the next ones are going to be either. But yeah, it's not difficult by any means.
Yep. So with that, switching gears, you can ask questions about this next one, since just to make sure I'm covering everything. So the next game I'm covering, going on this games that I've been playing on my PC, is Hitchhiker for Windows 10. So this was published and developed by Matthew Hall 3D. It, again, Windows 10 only title, and it has an Xbox Live Store price of $9.99. So this code was provided to us from Matthew Hall. So this is basically, I think using the comparison for you, this is your big rigs in the sense of one guy, this is his project, what he put together with. It's not a huge studio. It's one guy wanting to make a game and a few years in development, but he comes out, puts it out. 1,000 gamer score to it. It's basically there's a world map with cars going around, and you have to get into cars and get to a finish line. Then the finish line will, randomly appear on the map. And so there is some, not features, but you as a hitchhiker have your odor, your smell, like you have a bunch of these like gauges, and depending on the type of car you get in, how long the person will let you hitchhike for is dependent upon what your character is. So if you're smelly and the person that picks you up is one who has a very high scent tolerant, you might get kicked out of the car sooner than someone that has a low scent tolerant. And so basically you get into the car and you need to get by the map to where the finish line is. And what happens is it's like a downtown area. So there's all these turns and you don't know which way the cars will turn, but you have power-ups. So you can say, okay, make the car go straight through this intersection. So hopefully the finish line isn't too far and you kind of can do it. So, I mean, it's, I guess, a puzzle-ish game, strategy puzzle game, but it's one map and you just kind of keep randomly generating. So it gets repetitive, and the final achievements are really complete 50 missions, reach player level 15, reach player level 20. And it maybe takes you 5 missions to get a level. So to get to that level 20, you're going to do more than 50 missions. And your scoring is based on, like, you're given a time limit. And so let's say you have 2 minutes to get to the finish. So if you get to the finish with a minute and a half left, you'll get more points than if you get to the finish line with like 5 seconds. So again, it's right in that title, especially for a PC game. You can play it for a few minutes, play a mission or two, it might take, 5 minutes. So it's something you can pick up, you can play, and for something that somebody put together, hey, it's a pretty cool thing. But this is that trade-off that I start seeing in these ID titles. This is $9.99. We just covered Spheroids, which is $2 less. However, this game, while it's more repetitive, if you were playing it beyond just getting achievements, has more replay than Spheroids maybe, because, well, it's the same 8 level. However, you'd be going, well, it's just one map, so maybe it has less replay for you. I mean, again, that's kind of that conundrum. Like, if you want just something kind of mindless from a strategy, it works. But again, it's, not a whole lot to it in that sense. But, for a single person project, putting a game together with all the achievements work, it's fairly impressive. You think, I mean, Randy, what's your, like, from what you've been putting together for your title, do you have more of an appreciation when people are doing this solo without a big development studio behind them?
Yeah, I mean, I do, because everything, I mean, it's not just solo. I mean, I have Jack to help too, but at the same time, you know, I can put out this game that is kind of more like Spheroids, where the idea is you kind of play it once, and that's probably all you're going to play. Maybe you'll show it to your friend, and they'll get a laugh too. But I mean, it's a completely linear game with no replay value. I mean, it's a story. You go through the story. You play it for, I mean, probably by the time it's done, it's going to be about an hour long, and that's it. But at the same time, you know, I would never. I realize that the price point on this game should probably not be more than $5 ever, and $5 would be an extremely high point. I mean, my target range is in the $3 range, so it's like, you know, while I understand that being a one-person or a two-person development team means lots of work, I also kind of, you know, you still have to look at your game as it's competing with people that have 100-person development teams, because those dollars are, I mean, those dollars are worth the same to the teams, I guess. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but
no,
I mean,
it
$5 for a one-person game can buy the same as $5 from a 100-person game if they're selling 100 copies for every one copy you're selling. So
yeah, and I think that
often means that the multi-person teams, unless there's something very special about your game, you tend to get better value for your money, because I mean, they have more resources than you.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, one of the things that also with how we review so many games at these price points, I think we're a little more, I think, aware, cognizant of like, okay, what can I get at these price points, right? Because if you're looking at, okay, $60 title, $60 title, $60 title, hey, here comes a $10 title, you might, again, you wouldn't expect the same thing at a $60 level as a $10 level, and so seems completely reflective, and that's fine. But when you're going and you're saying, here's a $7 title, here's a $10 title, here's a $14 or a $14 title, and you have all these titles, I mean, that pricing actually.
Well, and then you have, you know, sometimes a $40 title comes along, like Kerbal Space Program that I did a while ago, which is like, when you look at it, it was just so overpriced. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it really does become, and I think as we see more and more titles, you know, really coming into the mainstream of this ID and, you know, playing in this space of you're not playing at these $60, that pricing does that suddenly, if you're asking 10 and then there's other titles out there that are asking 5, it becomes a lot more, you know, it becomes more of a impactful thing, especially if you're being, you know, if you're looking at here's a $7 title and you should be priced at 5 versus being priced at 10, you know, that could make the difference. But
and that $5 does go a long way too, because I mean, you look at all of the games you can get for $10, you look at all the games you can get for $5. I mean, you have to be twice as good as one of those $5 games, basically.
Yeah, well, and I think that's, again, as there's more and more of this focus on this realm of the cost, it becomes much more imperative. But still, I think for a introductory first time out of the gate, you know, puts together a nice game. It's fun. You know, it does the job. Just for me personally, I would say, you know, it'd be one of those things I'd look at it personally to get it sale. For a lot of the other titles that we've covered, you know, the $9.99 in my opinion seems a little steep for it. But I mean, pricing aside, from a strategy game, works, you know, the mechanics are there, you know, again, it's that not expecting 40 hours of gameplay out of it, you know, it's there. But again, it's nice seeing some also things working on PC, because again,
I was just going to say too, it's nice to see some more stuff coming out for Windows, because that did really die off for quite some time, and it does look like there's a little bit more support coming now, which is, I don't have Windows 10 yet, but it's kind of nice to see it.
Yeah, so, all right. So that's all we got for this week. Hope everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, I'm back. That should be pretty much it for the rest of the show. I do want to throw in a touch of zombie news here before we head out, and it's coming up with some Dead Rising 4 DLC called Frank Rising. It comes out April 4th, which is just right around the corner for $10 or something. And it actually has Frank West coming as well, he's a zombie. You get to play as the freshly infected Frank West, and he shambles, runs around through the city. Not entirely sure like what if there's a storyline piece here. Presumably that's kind of the thing, but what this does introduce is some new abilities and some things. And he, instead of eating like burritos and bags of chips and stuff, he actually has to go and eat other zombies to try and save himself or from not dying. I don't know. I'm curious. So there you go. That's just one touch of DLC that's coming out. They've got others coming out as well, like a mini golf game that's coming out. All that stuff's in the season pass. So if you're interested, you can take a look there. I think that's about it for the show. I'm hoping we covered everything, and if not, I just copy some of the news things over from last week. We'll do it again next week. We do have, of course, all of our contests ongoing right now. March is wrapping up. By the time this thing comes out, you have just mere days to unlock achievements for the various contests that we're a part of. And then go ahead and post them in our forums. Let us know what you worked on in the month of March that goes toward those contests, because, a single achievement gets you an entry, and that's all it takes to win. Of course, if you had more entries, the odds go up a little bit, but one of the easier ones to get into, provided you have a bit of a game library, is the Gamertag Challenge. And this month, it's simply my name, Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. That is only 10 different games that you had to have played this month. A game that starts with F. REAM, you understand how that works. I just actually this last week beat Whispering Willows. I completed that thing on was that Friday night, and so yeah, there's my W, Whispering Willows. I got the game completion on that one. I still need to do a little bit more. I'm planning on doing a touch of that tonight. So like F, I might jump into Fable Heroes, might do a little Foul Play. I don't know. I haven't really decided. I was thinking I might need some points or some achievements, because we have the March Mokas, M. Surin's Overly Convoluted Achievement Spectacular. This is madness, right, where you need to unlock individual achievements. So my gamer tag is simply games, Halo Spartan Assault for the H, or Microsoft Solitaire for the M, whatever. This is actually individual achievement names, and you are unlocking letters. So whatever letter begins that achievement is the letter in which you can use to spell out a college team's name for the March Madness tournament. There are 64 teams that are eligible. You can find links to that in our forums, forum.z2z.com. Then and in there, all you have to do is spell the name. So unfortunately, if you guys watched that Badger game, man, that just crushed my heart. But Florida will get you some bonus points, and that's only 7 achievements for that one. You maybe can get that one. South Carolina, a little bit more of a doozy, but they're headed to the Final Four for the first time in their history of ever making it in the tournament. That's a pretty remarkable run by them. Anyway, there you have it, right? So aim for those high-level ones. Try to get those at least. They give you the best chances at unlocking or winning a prize. And then stay tuned on our forums for what April holds. I haven't seen anything from M2ORN about what the April contest is. I can tell you that the Gamertag Challenge for April is Cerebral Assassin, and that is CER3 BRA1 ASASSIN. Yeah, I said that right. There are 3 S's, not 4, like you would normally spell it. You'd have to look in the show notes, look in the forums. That will give you the exact way to spell his name come April. And then in April, we are also introducing, after, of course, Mass Effect, March Effect is done this month of March. I've been playing a ton of Mass Effect still. Just going through side quests, have yet to move on to Novartis. That's kind of the next goal of mine. But April is going to introduce Gamer Scoregories. And you will have to look at the forums on how this progresses. I'm going to have to come up with some contests or some themes for that. I haven't done that yet, so I got a few days. You'll have to look at our forums. It will be announced on April 1st how the Gamer Scoregories works. If you're familiar with the game Scategories, that will give you an indication as to how this thing plays out. That's one of my favorite games, but nobody plays with me anymore because I'm not much of a gracious winner, and I'm very good at that game. So anyway, keep your eyes out on our forums for how that one plays out. Finally, you're running out of time on the random to-do list. We're wrapping up March, of course, and if you have yet to unlock any achievements in the month of March, you are at risk of being eliminated from the contest. Now, of course, elimination simply means you have to ask for a new list, but if you at least earn one achievement, you don't have to ask, and a new list is generated for you right away. So if you enjoy the contest, if you like playing, which I absolutely do, I think it's so much fun. Make sure to do that. I also want to mention the Shameless Self-Promotion chat room in our Discord chat. It's a great place there if you're a Twitch streamer and you want people to come to your stream. If you're like at the beginning of the show I mentioned, a budding artist or a comic strip writer or whatever, and you've got anything you want people to come check out or help, we're a community that wants to help to support. And so if there are ways we can help you, we would love to have that opportunity. So use the Shameless Self-Promotion chat room to direct us to some fun things you are doing, and be respectful. Don't spam that thing with garbage. But if it's something you're truly proud of, or you or someone very close to you has put a lot of work into, we would totally appreciate that. It would be wonderful. And of course, in our chat rooms, you have so many LFGs looking for group, looking for gamers, looking for people to play with. Post in there for, we have game-specific ones. So if you're looking for people to play Overwatch with, or you're looking for people to play Left 4 Dead with, those exist on there. We also have region-specific ones. So if you're an Australian gamer, we have the LFG Aussie group, where those are traditionally time zones that work for people who are in Australia. Because if I want a game tonight, I likely can't play with Australians because most normal Australians are working when I'm wanting to play this evening. Just how it works. And of course the UKers, when I play, they should be asleep. Of course, we all know that Dave Kinetic and WebChimp, they don't sleep, so they might be around, but that's not the vast majority of the UKers. So we have a Europe one as well for people who just to get an understanding of time zones. And if you work one of those crazy jobs, maybe you're a third shifter or something, and you live in the United States, well, then the time zones that work for you. So that's just one other place that we have it. And I do also want to mention feedback of the week. We at Z2Z are dishing out prizes, and we would love to continue to reward our community for their interest and feedback and anything, their contributions to the show, because really it's what keeps us going. We so appreciate all of our listeners out there. We'd love to have more, but we absolutely cherish the ones that we currently do have. So thank you so much, all of you, for everything that you do for us. So with that being said, I think it's about time we wrap this thing up. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. It's been a blast. And if you didn't enjoy it, constructive criticism is always welcome. If you did enjoy it, you can spread the word to all your friends and let everyone else know. It will be just fabulous. So So like I mentioned, getting those reviews on iTunes or wherever you listen to this, those are immensely helpful to spreading the word of the show. You could always come to our website, z2z.com. There you'll find show notes, things that we've talked about here on the show. Visiting that will, drive traffic to the show. We appreciate that as well. And there are just so many ways to reach us. I mentioned you get there's prizes for feedback of the week. So, hey, how are you going to get to us? Well, Twitter, of course, at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED. You can email us directly, contact@z2z.com. We'll listen to private messages through Xbox Live, trueachievements.com, or even better, you can private message us at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or you can find us at our Discord chat, discord.me/Z2Z. I know, that's a lot of places to track us down, but hey, we totally appreciate it. Or even find me on my personal Twitter, at Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE. That works too. So many ways to get a hold of us, and we would love it if you did. I also want to give a big thanks to all the sites and tools that help make this show a reality. Libsyn, Discord, Trello, Twitter, Discourse, Zencaster, Skype, and TrueAchievements.com for giving us all these tools. We couldn't do this show without you. And, of course, all the games media and news people out there who help drum up all the fun things to talk about. We so greatly appreciate your contributions. And last but not least, Microsoft for giving us the Xbox console. So, on behalf of everybody who contributed to the show this week, I've been Brandon, and to all of you achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next episode.